Hello, I am the Ronan Pawn, and welcome to a twitch.tv/Ronan Pawn live stream on twitch.tv/Ronan Pawn. Hello, little magnets. Welcome to Kerbal Space Program, is what would, if I just click and then with accept. And then to Kerbal Space Program. Haha. This is a weird intro so far today. Let's keep it up. So, balls. What do we think? It's a career day. It's a career day in Kerbal Space Program. Day 17. I have to title these things, you know. and every time I increment the number by one. Day 17 of our career. We have 6 million Kerbucks, 51 science. It's end of the day, kind of perpetually. Look at that, just... We've got a sea of 7-Up. Maybe a bit of Mountain Dew mixed in there that we just overlook here. It's going. We're doing stuff, it's going. What are we doing, and where is it going? Are good questions to have answers to. So if you guys know any, you let me know, because no. We're going to sea. We're going to hell. We're going to Kerbal Space Program crashing the moment that you open the game. Unity 2019.418 FU. Asshole for playing, trying to, well, we're going to game crash it. You want to play Islanders instead? I was just 2 hours today before the live, no, Kerbal? We're still Kerbaling. Okay, Kerbal then. Islanders, very fun little builder. If you don't have it, I was thinking of, everybody's got their goddamn lists because it's the end of the year now, Christmas time. So the ad rates are good on YouTube, which means suddenly everybody's got daily content. And I was just thinking about, if I were to do some kind of a list video, it would be interesting to do like a specifically, here are the games that you should buy for other people. If you were thinking about buying a game for someone else who is not you, and therefore does not have the same taste that you do, then here's what you should buy for them. Just like a list of generically good games that have a low threshold of entry that you could get in and be like, okay, I see how this goes. And then like 6 hours later you go, whoa, where did I go? Islanders would be pretty high on that list. So if you don't have Islanders, if you've never played Islanders, don't worry about it. It's like $3-5. Just go grab it and play it.
You have email computer work hopefully to do in the next 10 days or so.
10 days? Does it involve the baby Jesus? Because I think I see the timeline here. Do I have to go back and kill him? Again? No, okay, thank you, Rex. Thank you for poking me on a thing that, now that you say it, I remember, oh yeah, I saw some emails come in last night, and I was like, yeah, and went to sleep instead. I will have a look-see, Rex, and I will desperately try not to travel back in time and kill the Messiah, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. It's just a habit of mine. I realize I've gotten into a rut. I need to just move on, pick another spiritual figure, the Mahatma Gandhi, murder him a little bit in the past. Why not? Right? Might solve the Dark Age if you do. It would solve... Hello, Noah Craw. I mean, a lot of wisdom would be lost. Let's not, pretend it would be otherwise. But there would be a lot of people who didn't die for no reason. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to Bob's pirate ship that we took 2 entire live streams building to this point, and it obviously is not done yet. Vulcan Rider, what's up, Ronan Pawn? My masts into the wind are what is up. With the mizzen, and get that bowline line, and get on the anchor with the starboard port. I don't know nautical terms. Look ye upon Bob's, not mine, Bob's pirate ship, which we'll be sending to Minmus today. It's done, except for the things that we haven't done to it yet that we'll do. But other than that, it's done. Oh, I'm subbed again. Who keeps buying me subs? there's a number of culprits in chat you could look to, and you can guess. You'll probably be... all I gotta say is, yar! Yar! Indeed, we're gonna go pirate Minmus, you know, because we definitely don't have, like, any rights to be doing what we're gonna be doing up there, but we're gonna get some friggin' science out of it. And then probably the moon as well. You know, eventually. So, yes, what's up for today, then? We've got the ship built. We've cleared my throat several times. Doesn't seem to be taking. There are things yet to be done. By which things, I mean one thing. We need to light it, basically. Is Little Magnets gifting 12 subs. 12, so I'm looking right now at my sub count over here that's on the delayed one. It says 79, so I'm gonna add it up, because Twitch lies to me. Little Magnets. Still waiting on that throat clearing to actually take a hold. Little Magnets again. Noah, show up to chat and bring up the gift sub thing more often, because then Little Magnets will drop a sub bomb on Reinken, Nessarak, Willie Fries, Lazy Toke. Lazy Toke? I don't know if I've ever seen, like, a really committed, passionate, like, or in frenzied toke, you know? Like, I don't think it's a thing. Rare Cheddar, Kim Cosmos, Mango SXX, Bone Yeti, Throat Clearyman, it was Bone Yeti, Ryan Stone, Drogar, and Psychedelic Hippie. And that's all of them except for Josanne Leclerc. And that's all. And Throat Cleary Man again, because I need his help. Thank you so much, Little Magnets. 12 subs. It reads 91. We started at 78. We carry the 2, and then divide by 3, and then there's the pi ratio, and then tau, which would be the pi squared, and well, times 2. And yeah, that adds up 91. Thank you so much, Little Magnets. How much science should I be able to get from orbiting the moon, and what do you suggest carrying on my capsule? Like a gun? I'm an American. I live in Detroit. Like, on your capsule, some air, water, like a hunting rifle would be a good idea. Really a shotgun, you know, the big cone of just death. How much science should I be able to get from orbiting the moon, though? What should you be on your capsule for gathering science, Vulcan Rider? You know, thermometer, barometer, science goo, mystery goo, and then if you've got it, if you're gonna, you know, drag it all the way up, the Science Junior, and if you're just orbiting the moon, then I presume that would be all of the science gear. And then what you want to make sure and get is also a crew report. If your Kerbal is able to exit the craft, then you want to get an EVA report. Yeah. Those are the things. It's like six bits of science is usually what you'd be looking for while you're orbiting the moon. That's not... I actually kind of half answered that question. Holy shit. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to... I'll try and tone that down. How has Noba not gotten a gift sub yet? Disgraceful. I don't know. Maybe he just doesn't... Maybe he's rejected it. Maybe he puts it back into the pool. Go up there. Go up there. Thank you. I love this little... I love... When we popped it open today, I'm like, the color, the theming, it's all there. It all works. What it needs is light. It needs lighting, which will be under utility pawn. No, I know. Thank you. You don't have to treat me like a child. No, I don't. No, you don't. You know, I know you always do, but you... Okay. Shh. So, when we have the lights on already, so just throw that away or else you'll just leave it out there. When we have the lights on, at least backwards we'll be throwing like a red cast that way, and then forwards we've got just that, because, you know, it just seems appropriately. Like, when I turn those lights on, I hear like, ding, ding, you know, it just seems, and it helps me. I'll give you this, it looks like a proper spacecraft. You think so? Did you mean ocean craft vessel something, not space? It is boat themed. The Mac OS startup sound? No, the buoy, Buoy? Buoy, Baba Buoy. Baba Buoy. Baba Buoy. Baba Buoy. Hello, my name is... Stop with the... And you don't... lighting is what we want there. And, yeah. Sure. Maybe the little spotlights off of the base of the mast, you know? Just to get, like, a lot done. Because it'll be less of a... It should be a tighter cone of light, but it should also go further, because it's a spot, right? So, yeah, that could work. That could work, so, like... But, you know, that way, with the symmetry that's radial, and then... Yeah. One on either side. Casts us a little bit of light down on ourselves. Only love can make it rain the way that lovers something over the sea.
SPACEVOAT.
What does that spell? P-A-C... Space boat! Thank you, Noah. It's color though, like a little bit of just a touch of, you know, the sky overhead, or the sun in our eyes. So just like maybe just a warm, it maybe leaned a little bit toward like a sunset kind of a, you know, you want some red and some orange mixed in there. Is that even? Let me just drag that over. Just a little bit of, you know, a little coloration of those lights to just be the setting sun, a magenta, no, not magenta, sangria sunrise is the color I'm looking for here. Full with on that, and then yeah, something like that. Just throw us a little bit extra light. We're out in space. The sun didn't set in space last I checked, but it does on the British Empire, and as this is Her Majesty's ship, space boat, since it's then the sun is setting on the thing. A HMS space boat. But so, yeah, the sun is setting on the top of her, which means that then what we'd want, what would be great, what would be grand, what we'd like, is if on the bottom, how would we, maybe with more of the spotlights, but instead it's only when we're attached with this guy, right? And then maybe these spotlights are like low, they baby got low, but in mirror mode, you know, and then not that low, that's a little bit too low, come on. Get your ass up off the floor. Or out on the floor. I'm working on this song. It'll be done soon. So then we put you guys on. And then that'll be, you know, the deep blue sea. It's, yeah. So sun's rise, setting, something. And then down here, you know, we're underwater. Obviously. I think that just nails it, is what that does. It's nailed. That's what it looks like when the nailing commences. Which it did, and it's done, and now, okay. I'm just gonna slap lighting on in a number of different places, and then see what I like and what I don't. So, again, with you, lights on, blue.
Ship name HRP, his Ronan pornness, Bob's junk.
The HRP Bob's junk. Bob's junkie. Bob's space boat. Yeah, no, I don't like that. I don't like, you could just see the line too much, you know, you can see, it needs to be more of a, it needs to be kicked off from the under. We got these fins. Why do we put these fins on? There is no reason other than whatever we can come up with in the long run, and look what we're coming up with in the long run, which is lights on, and then if I just went straight to the blue, could use the same blue, and it's very, yeah, I don't like that blue. It needs a little bit less teal to it. It needs some darker, yes, yeah, that kind of a thing. Huh? Don't answer my huh. But yeah. That actually could be it. I'd be happy with that. We just put 2 lights on there, 2 lights there, 1 front and back from up here. 1 Would I be benefited any if I, like, tilted them down a touch? Just to throw the light more on what we want to see. I think I am. I think that is better, but, how does it look? Yeah, you see how it looks, though, and that's problematic, because I'm very picky. I'm very picky about how everything looks. Don't ask me. Ask anybody, and they'll tell you, he's dragged us through hell in order to get things exactly the way that he likes it. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yes. I can deal with that. I also feel as though we should throw light onto our sails. We don't need to. They're light-catching sails. That's what they're here for.
U-W-U.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, she totally ripped you off on that one. Ooh, honey. Ooh. Teal, now. Pirate flag. I mean, I got my flag there and nowhere else. It'll do. Pirate flag. Like, don't make suggestions. Because I might listen, and then where are we gonna be? Huh? Then what's the deal? Wait a second, I got another idea. He's got ideas again. I'll put you there, and then with snapping, give me absolute, get me a snap. And then with not absolute, oh god, gee, you could get motion sickness watching this live stream. I should have mentioned. And then, huh? Ooh, yes. Ooh, yes. Idea getting better as I bring it into being. And then you light on, and then also a dark, rich sea blue. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah? Yeah. Yeah. Just gonna, like, see if maybe if there's a little bit more of it in bed, a little bit less of it in bed. Gotcha like that. And then if I pull you out, where does that leave us? Yes, sir. Indeed. Is the light strip modded, or is that a new thing? Because, like, I'm lining all my crafts in that shit, if that's the case. I think it's new, and it's just standard now. Yeah, I think. I am usually wrong, but I wasn't trying to put any mod in here that wasn't just, like, stock standard. You know, just change, like, the appearance of all of the things, but don't add any new parts was what I was going for. So if it is something that's modded, then I've messed up. Take the Ronin pawn flag, turn it 90 degrees, put it on the front section over the gold lifesaver on both sides, and the Jolly Roger on the back section in the same place. The gold lifesaver on both these ones, or these ones, right? But that's our docking ports, and the Jolly Roger on the back section in the same place. What? RGB Space Post, the one behind this one, and then with the, so let's see, the big flag, which isn't that big really, and then, so if there were that, and then you were like you. I could just have them flat riding like that. I don't need branding. Everybody knows when it's me, because everything goes wrong. I did like the idea. We actually did try like a flag version with using one of these antennas when we were building the front part of the ship. But I'm fine. We're good. I don't want to get, you give me ideas and then we'll end up doing them, and then where are we gonna be? This looks good. I was thinking of throwing light onto the but I won't. This is fine. It's lit. It's so lit up in here. Y'all gonna make me lose my cool up in here. Up in here. Y'all gonna make me go all out up in here. What, so, just curiosity out of the cat dying. All the cats are fine. I do have them blocked out, at least for the beginning of the live stream here. Figured out a cardboard solution to just stay out for a minute. Let me get the stream started first, if you don't mind. Hang on though, because like these, what if they were throwing a much more colorful light? We got that red light there that's throwing it back. I think this light should be, I think I was happier when it was Sangria Sunrise. So, something like, ooh, there was a certain color in there that just felt like, yeah, that's sunlight from the sea. Yes. We'll with that. Yeah. Just makes you feel like you're less in space. Which is good for some reason. What would that look like if I tried to get you, Sangria Sunrise? Right now you are pure... You're not pure anything, but you're damn near just straight up red. If you were Sangria Sunrise... No. No. You stay pure red, hon. You keep doing you. As long as the day is. My dog is sleeping on the back of my chair like a fuzzy head. Oh, what I wanted to do... Your comment just reminded me. No, what I wanted to do was... let's look at the delta V on the thing. So, vacuum. As a complete unit, it says it's got 2,803 meters per second. What we would want, in order to make that true... Incidentally, now that we're getting near the end of this build, should I go ahead and switch root part to you? Okay. So let's just close the fuel off so we can't drain anything from here and get an idea of what kind of pushing force we've still got behind it. So it's that, and then there's some Oscar Bs under here as well. That should be all of the fuel in the lander stage. And what we've got while we're pushing the lander is 2,270 meters per second. With almost 1 TWR in vacuum around Kerbal. That's not bad, considering just the one big. And that is a Poodle engine that we've got on it. But 2270, I think we actually wanted this to end up having 2,400 total, the mothership. With the idea that when we're going to... say the moon, which is easier to get out to, but that you got to stop around it and stuff like that. It's about 1,200 coming, and then the idea was let's have 1,200 going so that we can we could return from the moon and then park in orbit around Kerbal for like a refueling kind of a thing. Which doesn't have to be how it is. It was just what I was aiming for during the build, was to end up with about 2,400 in the mothership. I'm tired. See you later. Good night, Noah. Thanks for stopping in, dropping a couple hundred bits on me, huh? Some ooh-woos and some space boats. Space boat! We'll let you know how the commencement ceremony goes. Breaking the champagne over the bow and everything. Gonna have to find some champagne. Houston has been just drinking through. I mean, not that we ever had champagne around here, but if there was alcohol in it, it's gone. Like, I haven't been able to use mouth rinse for, like, months. So that'll be... We'll have to send a kit out for it or something like that. What else? So, 2,270 meters per... It's almost 2,300. It's not bad. We're also carrying, you know, a hefty weight in our balls. Maybe it's too much ball weight. I don't know. I think so. 2270. It's a lot. We'll figure out how to do some controlled aero braking with this thing too. For like if we want to bring it back to Kerbal, little bit of a dip. You got to dip a little bit in the atmosphere. If you come back from the moon or Minmus or something like that, you know, maybe we bring our periaps down to like 58 or something like that, and just especially with our fins there, you know, they should rudders. We'll just dig them into the space eddies and currents and steer Steer this. But so 2270, just pushing here. And by the way, that should be, if I want to know what the real TWR is, then you would also be thrust limited 0, 0.89 from Kerbal, from around Kerbal. It's still like a very healthy TWR in vacuum kind of a thing. And then, if I pull you off and set you back here, then we can see what's left in this guy by 1, turning the engine back up, and 2, allowing us to use the fuel again. No, that one? No, it's in there. There's a clicky place. Here we go. Oh, no, that's the donut still. Give me the... Not the docking port. For fuck's sake, it was no problem doing it the first time. There... No, that's also not it. What's your problem? There's the Oscar B. Unlock the B. Put B in a B. And then I'll unlock that. And then what kind of Delta V are we showing here? We're showing 1,595 meters per second. Is that... How did I add like a bunch of weight to this? I mean, in excess of this construction. Or was just that construction enough? 1,595 meters per second. This is supposed to be a lander that's supposed to go down and return. If we were doing it at the moon, we're presuming like 800 to land. Don't think 600 you're gonna get away with it. So 800 going down, and then like 700 coming back. It's 1,500 Delta V that you'd want on the moon, and we've got it. Got 1,600. So yeah, it's all good. And I mean, this is more... It's going to be used more on Minmus, because on the moon it would be a one and done kind of a scenario. It would be a land and then that's it, I guess, kind of a thing. But those are good. The DV is there for all the things that we wanted. We're still within spec, you know, we're real tight to spec, but within spec of what my goal was when we started putting it together. Good evening, Pequa Pop. The champagne of beers. Break a bottle of Miller over the bow. I'll tell you what, if there's a bottle of Miller somewhere in the Space Center, Houston has definitely not drank that. He's gone through all of the mouthwash and anything else that had alcohol in it. But Miller, no. Who would? Who would? So wait, and what? And then the other thing. I had a thought, and then it was Miller time, and now it's just gone. No, it was an important... Oh, it was landing. It was the idea of, obviously we're set up for landing here. I'm not super thrilled with the clearance for the engine to not explode that we have. And we've got room to embed it a bit more. I just kind of like those lines, though. The lines look good. Yeah. Put the engine back where you started with, you prick. Oh, God. Go back to... Yep, there. That's fine. I mean, we also have room to lower the legs a little bit more, but I don't. Neither of these things are making me happy. I don't like that the landing legs are that far, you know. All of those things. But yeah. But what? But yeah. I mean, there's also room for another Oscar B in there. Don't start. Don't let's start. This is the worst part. Could believe for all the world that you're my precious little girl. But I don't get around like you get around. What? Yeah, alright. No. Even though I like the lines better the other way, this works. And just curious, like... Oh, well, there you go. That helps. That gets me back those lines that from below you can at least see some of the sheathing. You got that, you got that. That's nothing. That's a little bit. That's white. And then there's that. No, give me the big sheath. And when with the big sheath, maybe I'm even willing to push it up further. I mean, how much further can I? It looks like you're about at the place where you could honestly embed it, and it's not like, that's unfair. Yeah. That's perfect. So that gives us, you know, whatever we've got. But my thought was this, landing. The idea of someday perhaps we will be in a situation where we want it to be able to come down on something that doesn't have gravity, you know. This is going to explode immediately, isn't it? If we're lucky, anyway, Nerd God. I spent 3 years in Germany back in the day. I can't drink mainstream American beers. That is fair enough. Hefeweizen. Hefeweizen, is that just like Budweiser in German? Hefeweizen is what I normally drink when in Germany. Is this going to make it to space in the stream, or is there another creative build day? No, this is definitely making it to space. Like, these are just the last thoughts. It is done. And it is beautiful. It is gorgeous. I love it. But my last thoughts before we build a lifter stage for it are, if it were to come down, I would think that the mothership would come down separately from this guy. Even if it didn't, we've found it to be very stable, at least in space with maneuvers and stuff like that when it is docked. But I would think we'd have to land upright on this engine. And if we were landing upright on this engine, then I think we just have to land on that engine. I don't think we have like landing struts that are big enough to cover, or that we would want, is the other thing. What are you looking at there? Are you guys start retracted? Okay, so that's extended. And so, uh-oh. No, give me you. And then, like, minimum here would be 3. And that would be extended, huh? I had you here. 3. Something like that. They could be just enough to land on, but it ruins the eye line and everything. I think if this thing were to land or needed to land, we just gotta land it straight up and down on its engine carefully. Yeah, I don't think there's room for landing legs there, and I also think that it absolutely can be landed. We've got RCS, we've got SAS. We get her landed, we get her stable, she'd be fine. You don't have robotic parts? Yes, I do. In fact, we're using them here in a very simple fashion. That we'll see it once we're out there doing a thing. I don't want to give it away. Okay, so we give it away from last stream if you were here. So let's turn off all the lights first off. Lights off is I'm going to go through them. I'm going to turn them all off, and then we're going to action group them. Lights off. We got here, yeah, you. Lights off. My light strip lights. Lights off. Spotlights. Lights off. And then there was, yeah, the two dome lights from back here. Lights off. I'm guessing those tap lights that we've put on the spacecraft on the fins, if we did try and do some aero braking, they would be the first thing to aero brake, you know what I'm saying? You know, to explode is what I'm getting at there. You can extend to use the legs somehow, or use the robotics as landing legs. Yeah, I don't want to ruin the eye line of it, and I don't think... It's not meant to come down, but I think we've got a good, you know, ability to, if we had need for it. You know, if we wanted to, like, refuel it somehow, which would be complicated considering we got the one small docking port there and the one big one here, but we can land it just carefully on its engine. That should be fine. Looks great, actually, doesn't it though? It's friggin' beautiful, gorgeous. Okay, so that's all the lights off, and now let's action group all those lights. I've already got a number of action groups that we created up here, so we've got to add to those. If I were to grab our solar panels, solar is on 9. So let's put everything on 9. So extend solar panel. Oh, these are like once deployed, you cannot undeploy? Oh. What about you? You're a toggleable, but you are a once deployed done. So this could not re-enter. I wonder if we could find like the right place, the right level. Like if we came down at a 59k around Kerbal kind of a thing, if we could keep them from ripping off in the wind. But those are a one and done deployment. I didn't realize that. Extend solar panel. Extend solar panel. Toggle solar panel. Boy, that sucks. Boy, does that suck. That's all the solar. That sucks so bad that I gotta look and just make sure that there isn't a version of this that packs away. Q10L15, SP10L15. So, are these the same? Jesus fucking Christ. Presumably so. The size of the fucking box! Oh my god. Alright, open the box. What's in the box? What's in the box? Yeah, they are the same, but fuck me with the size of that box. Holy spooples. That's a giant box. You know what I'm saying? It. Wow. So, you would, give me an absolute snap, get it dead up and down, and then actually we did this with absolute grab and pulls. Is that going to be a shift? Yes, it is. And then to be in the perfect exact space, same space as the other one, that's that. So it couldn't. If we pull it down, down, back, down. Oh my god. I didn't realize that they'd done this. That they have, they've done a little trick with the normal mapping, with the ability for something to be embedded into another thing and create an empty space without the one popping through the other. That's good. Oh, Kerbal, you did a good oh, what a good you've done. How good of you to be good when you were good. Retract that solar panel then. It's gonna change the way it looks. Sure. But like, let's. Yeah? You heard me. Did you? So yeah, give me you. And then with absolute snap, we pull to, I think it's there, and then down, just to the point where the box bottom isn't bottoming the box. Oh, I see. You've gone... Yes, you go much further. Much further. Den D with the 2 years of subscription. Let's celebrate, dance to the music things. Den D. 24 months. Thank you so much for the continuing support. What the hell is wrong with you? Is a thing that some people might want to ask of you. Not me. I'm completely, I support your decisions. Yeah, that's how that would need to be, and that's how that would need to be. Am I crazy that they're at different heights? Yes, you're crazy. They're not at different heights. They couldn't possibly be. Thank you so much, Den D. Welcome back to the Big Dick Club. 2 years. It really does seem like it's something that we should party about. So, I'll tell Houston to run out and get us more mouthwash. You are in the wrong direction, however, so if I rake you around, that'd have you like that. Like, I'm looking at it without committing to it, that's why I haven't pulled the others away. I just want to see, like, the ability to pack these things up a little bit. It's not as though the Gigantors can be packed away, but at least they can be collapsed down, you know. Now 2 more hours of design. No, it's just this. But if you want, I mean, I could. Are you interested? Because I'm really good at spending 2 hours designing things. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, okay. We don't need them to be highlighted red forever, Kerbal. The sail lines are still more or less true. I mean, it's just a millimeter off kind of a thing from where it was before, so that's fine-ish. How do we feel about those boxes, though? I'm not sure I'm super keen on the box. If I draw you up and then draw you back another one, and maybe back some more. Oh, right, and then you've got those that are placed in places and stuff. If I brought you back to there... could I get you sort of, like, right in line with that breaking point? I mean, not on a snap point, you couldn't. Okay, well, what if not on a snap point? 2 hours later. I'm not sure about this, guys. I actually like that immediately more. So now I just gotta figure out what I've done. And I think it's just... Oh, no. So back to a snap. We are on absolute still. That should be fine. And then is that the spot? We'll find out. Manually get it just like right on that edge. So you just barely see that metal seam. And then you're riding too high. Which means I'm gonna lose... If I switch to local, then I should be able to drag with a half snap down without losing everything. Alright, so that is even again in position and everything. It's totally not. What's the difference? Oh, well, because of that. Because of the extension on that. Right. It's actually okay, though. I don't hate it. It's just like the boxes. The boxes, the boxes, the boxes, the boxes. Once they're open and deployed. And, you know, I could drag this back, I guess, to try and get us more of an even sail distribution. Or widen the other one out and that kind of a thing. I think I don't like the boxes. I think I'm not a fan of it. It looks kind of cool with just the black part pulling through the box. I don't think I like the boxes. The profile of the boxes, I think, ruins a nice, rounded, naval-y thing that we had going on. And so I think we're just going to live with the... It doesn't work very good. Live with the... You don't get to drag this thing through atmosphere and expect that your sails are going to survive situation. The boxes are more parts for the explosion. Yeah, that too. Yep, that's the thing. So if I just throw you guys away, then we're back to how we were before I started that little experiment, and everything's lovely. Everything's grand. You want to see it explode. I understand. I understand. Okay, so now we know. We'll never be able to collapse these back in again. What are you gonna do? You know, we just keep them into the wind from there on. So back to the action grouping we were doing, which was... for the solar panels. So we now have this solar panel, that solar panel, that solar panel, and that solar panel, all in that action group. The 0 key toggled our magnetometer boom because I wanted an ability to, like, from here, get that to go out if it was retracting over and over again. Is there anything else 0-wise? Yeah. Because of our robotics animation here, I'm going to want that on a toggle. Well... Focus on the things that you're doing right now. So lights. Okay, we've got ship hull lights is what I want, actually. That's on 5? Okay. So general purpose hull lighting lights. We're putting them all together here for both craft. So then I've got these little dome lights back here that should toggle. I got my strip lights in there that should toggle. I can hear the kittens trying to break into the hackneyed slipshod construction I made to keep them out during the live stream. Even now. You guys can go away. Oh, well, I can't drag them right now. So, any lights that I'm missing on this thing? We got you two, we got those, we got these. We put those on. Everything else should be okay. And then you guys were on 4 for landing lights specifically. And then on 3 was our forward lights. I think I should consolidate some of this crap. I'm eating up like a whole lot of action groups here. So we've got all the science that we can run on 1, and then collect all to the storage. And then 3 is those lights. Let's have, if those are on, then these are on. I don't think electric generation will be that big of an issue. Yeah, so you guys, toggle light on that. 4, don't do anything with those. Yeah. So 5, doing all of the ship body lighting is fine for me. 8 is our antenna grouping. So we want to get our antennas for the mothership on here. Toggle the antenna there. That's our direct antenna. And then our relay antenna here. That'll be on 8. 9 was the solar panels. 10 was to force my magnetometer boom to go back out if it starts collapsing in, because that's supposed to always be out. Just part of the how it looks. Paul, I didn't know you were alive. You look slightly different to the 2-week-old VODs I've been watching, but can't put my finger on it, to be honest. I'm bloated, and this shirt is not flattering, and the way that I'm sitting is making all of my fatness. I'm fat. Is the thing. The shirt is not flattering, Paul. That's what I just said. Yes. Thank you for repeating me. Magnetometer boom on 0, but what was the other thing I was thinking with the 0? 0 would be good for that. For flipping this in and out. So if the magnetometer boom is not on 0, which is definitely a non-crucial kind of a thing to have the magnetometer boom, then are we going to have an animation for that? We should have an animation for that. I should build, a robotics controller kind of a thing for that. So robotics, buy me the Cal. It's 0.01 tons, and it might look cool to have somewhere. Okay, the cats have broken my quarantine. Hello. Hello, Callie. Hello, Callie. How you doing? Sitting under the mic boom. Yeah. You lay there and just purr, and don't step on the keyboard, and don't get up and chase the mouse cursor around on the screen, and we'll be just fine. I don't think that's how things are gonna go, but we would be just fine. How about there? Yeah, any weight that I have extra that I get to put on this thing, I should be putting down here, because we've got a lot of excess weight in the magnetometer boom up there, if I recall correctly. So yes, down and to the front, that looks beautiful where it is. Give me that. And let's open up an editor, and let's do some animating. Yes? No. Don't get all, because now I'm going to be doing something particularly pissy, complicated. How does this work again? It's just that. Fuck me. Control Z. Thank you. Please don't tell me like all of our action groups. No, that should have backed up to this, where all of our action groups existed. Open the fucking editor. Fucking thank you with the fucking thing. And then action groups. And and there's a hinge in here, right there. No. And it's the target angle that we want to have control over. And we've already got it like limited to the maximum throw that we want it to be able to do. So that should be representative. And she's in. She's doing the thing. Here you go. Go on. Go to the other side of the green screen. Go on. Track editor, so with you from wherever you are to another place is what we want to do. From here, presumably, is 0, and then from here, I would just want you to be... Yep, that's how that's supposed to work. And the duration can be like 3 seconds instead of 0. Seems fine to me, and then if I just back it off, and put you down there and get a little bit low, and then I hit play, Well, I play in reverse. Can I... play direction, reverse, play. Beautiful. There you go. So then we start in play direction reversed. We start paused. The other thing is that I'm going to have to lock that out every fucking time. And every time that I've tried to animate, like, locking a piece, it's just, it doesn't really... You can't do it in the track editor and expect for it to actually do the thing that you want. Which means, what we've done in the past as a solution for this is I've got 6 and 7 are free. So on 6, I could make the, I could say, toggle direction and play the sequence. And then on 7, I could say for the thing itself, toggle locked. So I have to hit 6, and then when it's done animating, I hit 7. And that will allow us to do that, which means 0 is again free to have the extend boom thing on it. That should be that, I think. Surprised no one's tried. Militarized war cats, an underutilized concept. I remember seeing Tom Scott with you know, when he gets together with his buddies, they do the comedy, and it's the technical difficulties. Doing a show where they talked about, you know, it was one of those, what is the Wikipedia article that I'm describing to you? And it turned out to be a CIA operation in which they trained a cat. They implanted, like, microphones into a cat, and then trained it to go wander around, like, the Russian embassy or something like that. And the story ends a number of different ways, because it's mostly recorded in lore what actually happened, but one of them says that as soon as they released the cat, in order to head over to the Russian embassy, had all the training and done this medical horror unto the cat, cat jumped out of the truck and immediately got hit by a car. I know Russians trained weaponized pigeons, but they kept sinking the wrong submarines. What's the other one? Bats with incendiary devices on them? Yeah, bats with incendiary devices on them, and then they train them to fly at tanks, and then, yeah, it's turned out, oops! Like, we trained them to fly at our tanks. Maybe that was the one. Maybe it was pigeons with that. Is that what, are we in agreement there? Okay, Kelly. Okay, Kelly. She's going crazy, yeah. But so that's like basic action grouping done. Anything that we need to do that we haven't thought of can be done live, because these are the kinds of craft that would be out and live forever until they're completely decommissioned and replaced with something. So any change that we make will, you know, out in the real world, will last. My God, she is so pet me right now. Is there anything else? What are the final considerations? I'm going to start packing it up. Retract my solar panels? Yeah. Oh, you're so cute. Oh, you made me click the wrong place. Okay, and then it didn't record that we'd done any of those things. It may have just undid all of our action grouping work, in fact, because it's Kerbal. So let me just click on anything so I can get this. That extends, and then 8 does that, and 7 is the alligator. No, we're good. We're good. Okay, Kelly. Yeah, you just rub your face on the microphone stand there. Yes, cute little girl. I'm gonna start packing this whole thing up to ship it. What else gets packed? I mean, you're packed. You know, you can close this up, I suppose. Close the doors on those. I would be retracting antennas as well. Oh, are those comms, are those antennas on our comms thing as well? So if I click on you, You are on custom 8. Okay. Okay. So yeah, retract. Extend? No, no, no. The other one. The other one. The one that's not extended is the one I'm clicking on here. Okay. You quit climbing me. Oh, Jesus. She went for your ears. She went for your ears. Reached out and caught the windscreen on the microphone. That's those antennas in. Any other antennas I'm missing? On either of the crafts. We look good. I think we're packed up, and now what we need to do... Oh, well, you might be missing one thing there, Pawn. Maybe the boom. Now we're packed up. All we gotta do is, you know, build a lifter stage, put it all under a fairing, build a lifter stage, set it to space. Didn't the Russians train dogs with C4 to blow up tanks, but they used the Russian tanks as training, so they went for the Russian ones. Maybe that's the one. Yeah, but there's definitely something also about bats with, and it might not have been the Russians, it might have been, you know, CIA, but bats with small incendiary devices. Was something somebody did. Best World War II shit was the decoy inflatable armies they used to confuse enemy bombers at night. To be honest, no animals harmed. Where they had like inflatable tanks and stuff. in the like the cannon end of the thing, it's just sitting out there and it's like she went for yours. That's a good clip. I think they came up with the idea to put little waistcoats of C4 on bats. Yeah. And somebody tested it and found out it's very dangerous and it's easy to blow up a test range. Is what they came. This is all folded up, ready to go. It just needs to be sent to space somehow. You start retracting. There you go. So that's Bob's Sciencey Tugboat Mark V, which is definitely not the final title for it. It was just a working building title, but now now we go to space. Yes. After this live stream break. Obviously. You saw that transition coming. Been here, just hang on. Exactly 1 hour, so it's about time for a live stream break. Let's have ourselves a live stream break. When we get back, 7 to 8 minutes from now, we put a lifter stage underneath this thing and send it toward Bob, who for the past week and a half is three shows, three, for a week's worth of live streams. He's been stuck orbiting Minmus, waiting to be picked up. But he's going to be so happy. It's a Christmas gift we're sending. We're sending him his ship. And we took so much time making it look awesome. He better goddamn well be happy. If he's not, I'll stick it to him. Because he's the man, and that's the name of this song. Listen to Stick It to the Man by Super Bob. Meet me back here in 7 minutes. Pawn, not out.
because we gotta trust, and any way we can, we would stick it to the man. But now we're out in jail, and you're facing go to hell. And I know I can't get away from the light of the lawless government. I know I can't get away. My
Hello, I am the Ronan Paul, and welcome back to a twitch.tv/Ronan Paul live stream on twitch.tv/Ronan Paul. We're in Kerbal Space Program, is of course where else would we be? I was playing Islanders earlier, and I gave it a great recommendation. Play Islanders, buy Islanders now for Christmas, for your set, for other people, for everyone. It's a fun little. It's a nice little. That ship definitely doesn't have enough monoprop. I bet that's what did it. Did what? Did who? Did it's? You know what? Did I say Bill got stranded? I meant Bob. Bob is stranded. Our key scientist. We've got a number of scientists. What we're doing, in case you are just joining us, is after 2 previous live streams, we've gotten our ship ready to go. This is going to be our primary science vessel. It's going to be Bob's own. It's going to smell like him real fast. The man eats way too much like red meat. He's grilling constantly out back the KSC. We didn't give him any work until we stranded him around Minmus, so it's fair enough, I guess, but it's just, there's only so much, so many times you can watch a man gut a fish, you know? But yeah, we're ready now. This craft is done. It's ready to be shipped to wherever the hell it's probably going, maybe. And the way that that's going to happen is actually not in this configuration. Like, it will be in this configuration once it's up there, once we, re-jigger everything. Oh god, the cats are breaking through the thing again. But for sending it up there, my plan was always to send it up in this fashion so that it would fit better underneath a fairing, and the whole damn thing's going to have to fit underneath a fairing. Now, question that I know I've asked myself many a time, can you just decouple from a docking port when it's just attached to something? I swear that's worked in the past. We're not going to rely on it. We're not going to... we won't. Are we going to rely on... We're not going to... Are we going to... We'll have to test it if we were going to rely on it. You don't have any fairing to you? So you'd just be like that, would you? It's fine. Is it, though? Yes. I can make it fine. We can strut it up so that it doesn't bother me. Like, what would our other option be if we did want to launch it in this configuration? Which I do. I think it makes the most sense. It's going to be less to get a fairing over on that side than if the whole thing were foot and jit and all of that kind of a deal. Just a separator that goes in both directions, but that does mean that you're leaving trash in space, debris. The answer is yes, but it is not a decouple, it is a detach. And then we'll be able to just detach directly from there the one time, because it was assembled on it. I hate the look of it. I hate that it looks like that. If I were to instead do the fair and reasonable and right thing, like if I, first off, do you just never have you're not gonna, no. Alright, well, if you're not gonna have it one way or another, we will test it. We'll put it out on the pad and make sure before we go to full launching. But, for strutting this up, then, either side, from there to there, and then, you know, fix this broken crap that, and then like that, so that it doesn't look like it shouldn't. You know, and then, yeah, that's fine. And both of those will remain there forever. It's just a extra little bit of greebling. That's okay. That's okay. And then actually, can we, enable staging on that? Yes, we can enable staging on that so that we will be able to release it on a spacebar action when it comes to it. Okay, so then this just needs a lifter stage, and thankfully all we're pushing up here is a scant 29 tons. That's not much. It's going to turn into a lot more once you put the giant fairing on that you're going to need for this to work at all. So Decoupler first. And what scale or size decoupler are we going for here? The TD18 wraps around that engine pretty nicely. And that puts the engine under its own fairing that we don't need. So I can tell it's no fairing. I wonder, does that change the weight of it? So we're at 28.973 here. And then if I tell you no shroud, it doesn't change a damn thing. But one way or another, we don't need it. It's fine, I guess. And then, yeah, with snapping, without snapping, because you'll go a little bit further without snapping, apparently. We need to get this to as wide as it's going to need to... Holy crap, it's going to need to be wide. That's the largest fairing I've got, too. Yes, spawn. Oh, good. Good for us. That's a little bit wider than it needs to be. Get an idea of how... Okay, so a little bit wider than that. So that does it. To get over that bit. And then coming up, yeah, we pretty much just want to go straight up because of what we have to deal with once we get up here, which is that. And then at about there, we'll snap her closed where we can't see anything penetrating, which is something like that. And now we're 31 tons. That's a hell of a... It's a delivery package. I mean, maybe we don't need all of it, but we probably do. It's only like 1.5 tons or 3 tons of fairing. What? So... another thing that we do want to do, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, like we won't want to cross feed through this. We disable cross feed on that, and that'll make sure that we're not sucking fuel from here while we're burning that engine below, and then that means I don't have to do a whole bunch of locking down fuel tanks and disabling engines and whatnot. Yeah, that should work. Is this going to be asparagus stage to give you more efficiency? Pika? I don't know. You mean what's my plan? Oh, well, let me... The plan is to throw out enough liquid fuel, and there you go. That's where we are. So you're the... Don't worry about staging yet. Just get to the liquid fuel end of things. So starting with the biggest friggin' full-size engine we've got, which is the Skipper. That's 1890 with a TWR of 0.94 in vacuum, 0.82 at altitude, and altitude of like 12 kilometers. We've got a 0.93 TWR on that with 1,867 meters per second. Not enough fuel for the liquid stage, and not enough TWR for the liquid stage. But with Pika saying, you know, asparagus, we could, what does our TWR, like, get up to as we ascend? It's never going to get good enough for in-atmo itself. Okay. So the Skipper's not enough for us. And yet that is our meanest single engine. So if I wrapped it round with thuds, let's see what happens when I put 2 of them on. In the same stage. 1.23 at that height. That's plausible. But you're going to need more fuel. So let's go up to 3 of them. And yeah, that's a reasonable way to put them on. Gets us up to... You need to all be in the same stage. I shouldn't have to. 1.38, and then we're going to put more fuel onto it. Spent this long on the payload, may as well build a lifter stage you can save and use multiple times in future. We never do it that way. I love the idea, though. I've always wanted to, like, take the time to create, like, multiple lifter stages that are like set up for, you know, this would be for this much tons and this would be for that much tons, and just have like things you can just grab from and go with. But I just never do I? In terms of like creating something that could break away, you know, maybe the fact that the skipper alone isn't enough, maybe it's a good reason to consider a pair of bobcats. How would I transition to a pair of bobcats, though? Because we're light on things that would do things. So that gets you to that size. This would be the one that adapts down to the bobcat size. If there were 2 columns of bobcats with 2 different fuel stacks above them, there's still no good way to transfer from a 2.5 meter size tank to bobcat size tanks, which is what our connection point is up there. So it kind of just makes sense that there be this as a core. But we've already established that it just doesn't have the thrust that it needs without adding these engines to it. Give it a pair of Reliance on the side. And then if we're throwing off fuel as we go, yeah, see, you shouldn't have said anything, because now I'm just trying to overcomplicate it. I should not. I should just not, and instead get to the point where we're having fun with this thing. So let's reverse that. Lighter weight on the other side. Put you guys up there, and then liquid fuel stacks additional. Put you on there. Enable crossfeed. And then no. Gets us an additional 451 meters per second. But it does suck away our TWR. Does make me think that, like, we'd be better off if this could have done that exactly the opposite way, and it would have worked better. And that'll be the 6th time that I clicked on the same part, and Kerbal was just like, sorry, what? Huh? Excuse me? Sorry? Did you say something? I wasn't listening. Did you say it again? All of the engines fire together, and then you guys do that, and that's 1,500, and then if I were to add another stack to you, then that gets us up to the 2,000 meters per second that we'd be looking for, more or less. No, we want like 2,400, and then we'll put 1,000 SRB on there, 1,000 DV from solid fuel. So we want more than this steel. You should have some fireworks on this ship too, so as it goes up it puts out an awesome display. Get a little bit extra delta V by throwing them off. So 1147, but when we drop those we pick up additional DV. The game doesn't know when we'd be dropping those. We're just testing it all from altitude. Having about 1,200 and then throwing those off and carrying on does kind of work out. Kind of does work out. So if you're in the center, and then there's one of you there, one of you there, And we'll adjust that as it goes. It's a little tight. It's a little tight, and then you're asking the SRBs to pull a lot of weight. If you just swap it out for a slightly bigger tank, instead of trying to be threadbare on your lifter stage, then we're up to 3245 showing. If we pick up another 150 by throwing those tanks off as we go, which was probably going to be way more than that. Yeah, I think we're overkill here. TWR 1.14, that's not great. That'd be the opposite of great. We'd be, if I do this, and then I go down to just 2 engines there, when we drop them, we're at a 1.64. If I take it completely off, we're at a 1.24 when we're just down to the skipper. And then we add Reliance, tip of U, fire them all together. 1.52 when we convert over, so the Reliance are a little bit more than we'd need. But we can't go down from there. The Reliance are, I mean, we can go to the swivel, and that will give us less TWR, but more vectoring authority, but we lose a little bit of delta V for it. Put them all on the same stage, 1.42. Means that once we're throwing those off, we're, well, when we'd be throwing them off, presumably, yeah, we're going to be, it's not a lot of TWR on the final stage pushing it like that. I don't hate it, though. I don't hate the idea. Hello, Hydroflame. I remember you liked Hacknet. Have you checked out Bitburner? Bitburner? No, I hadn't even heard of it. Is it in the same style or by the same people? Because, yeah, Hacknet is beyond. It's on another level, people. If you haven't hacked the net and you like programmy, Linuxy, command line, like typey games, if you've got a mind for those, as I do, then you absolutely need to get yourself Hacknet and play it long enough to experience the most immersive thing that will ever happen to you in gaming. At least that's what it was for me. Wow, look at this. I can't believe what a small lifter stage is required in order to push that thing. I mean, it's just the liquid so far, but that's what? I remember watching an episode of Harvin Paw and loved it. Bitburner is like a spiritual successor. I think you'd love it. Wow. Oh, yeah. Like, somebody remind me of that again later. Bitburner, because will I remember the name? Maybe. It's a strong maybe. Also, pawn, yes. What are the rules when you're throwing something off? Well, you pull it down a little bit so that it kicks out and away instead of crashing into. Yes. Good boy. You get a pawn treat later. Up here. Pull it up a bit more. I mean, with that, from an altitude of 12K, if that's where we're kicking them on, which it won't be, but that's where I always do the numbers from, we're looking at 2350, which is pretty much what we want. And then we put some SRBs on there. The TWR off the pad is 1.42, helps us get, well, at 12 kilometers, 1.42, helps us get the speed. Once we're burning through that final stage all by itself, whatever we've got left is down to a 1.24. It's cheap and gets her done. We'll see. We shall see. Let's just carry on as though that would work. And go on to our SRB stage, which will want the same standoff radial decouplers. As well have them right there as fell. Yeah, no, because it's going to do all that kind of stuff. But what do we look at when we get 3 of those on there? You guys firing all alone. Yeah, 944 meters per second. But that's from, no, you need sea level now. 848. 3 of those, not enough. Okay, you want to get crazy? Who wants to get crazy? Who wants to stop burp hiccuping? Anybody? Because I'm just having the time of my life over here. Give me you. Pull you down where you're more or less level with the nose cones, because you're going to get your own nose cones. Yep, everybody gets a nose cone. So here's what crazy would be then with the decouplers, putting you on there, and then sticking some smaller SRBs, probably just hammers, under there, and then everybody fire together, and you go there. 914. Hammers not enough. Going up to, not the shrimps, the thumpers. Okay, yeah, I love having to flip this every time. That's great, game. 995 meters per second. It's almost 1,000. TWR of 1.38, that's reasonable, off the pad. There's a lot of, like, linking things together in order to make that work, let me tell you, though. And then the problem would be, like, trying to balance that these should burn out at the same time as these burn out. Every time we've tried that in the past, it doesn't. It's not good, and I shouldn't and won't do it that way. That, I think you ripped your engines off there, Pawn. Yeah. It's also looking ridiculous, is another thing. We just come in here. It's a good stopping point for me, is like, hang on. Does it look stupid? And I'm like, he kind of does. Ah! Also, you guys should probably be somewhere on the ship, actually. Yeah. Yeah. And now you're standing a little bit taller than they are, but that's okay. You don't have to be straight up and down, just as long as you got clearance with the fairing, which also is not really important. It won't interact with itself. It's just my choice to care that it should have some clearance there. But yeah, these how do you end up like moving all of the things? 847 with 1.1 TWR from sea level does not get us anywhere. The Pollux, like at that point we don't need, hopefully it would work with 2 of them, which messes up the fact that we're using a 3-sided symmetry. Well, just put it on there and see what comes together. See, yeah, the Pollux are way overkill with that. If I were to, like, remove from symmetry you, and then throw you away... Why do I keep having extra things there? 1.21, 1164 meters per second. That would be perfect. To have 2 Pollux on this thing. But that means that we're, we don't really have the kind of, we can't do a 3-sided symmetry for these, if that's how we be going. But the Pollux are clearly the thing. This is the amount of fuel and engine force that we need. So if I remove you and then take you off, we go to a 2-sided deal, snap you onto there, pull the Pollux down, and then we've got to come up with God damn it, with an alternate way of adding that liquid fuel and TWR to the next stage, but this should end up being correct. So, in fact, pull those off, set them aside for now. You guys, I'm going to have to come up with something that can go on in 2-sided symmetry, which could be Bobcats. Why not elongate the core? Any reason? Trying to make it so that, because this engine is not powerful enough to push a significant weight up. And if we're throwing off the weight of the fuel tanks that are connected as we go, then we get more out of it. So I need 3 more swivel engines on here to get the TWR that we want for the liquid fuel stage, or something equivalent to that. And I don't want to do it with just, we've started with a bunch of thuds, and it's a lot of, you're throwing off a lot of, it's very wasteful, the radial engines are. But I'm looking at this and I'm saying the Bobcats. 2 Bobcats instead of 3 swivels. What's the equivalence there? Is there equivalence there? So you have a sea level thrust force of 375, let's say, and then 3 swivels would add up to 167, 170, 17, 34, and then another 7, is that 51? So let's say about 50, so about 500, and 2 of you would get me 600 and something. Unless I'm wrong with that. Is it 170 and 34, and another 10 is 44, and 7 is 50. So you guys would be overkill. Damn it. So we had next stage, like even a Pollux below it, and some radial smaller SRBs. Like a single Pollux in line. We need 2 Pollux in line to carry the weight of the liquid fuel in the. I'm just gonna keep going whichever direction I'm going. I like that as the solution, and then we need 3 of those on there. We can't do it 3-sided symmetry because of the uneven weighting of having 2 Pollux on. So the 2 Reliance weren't enough, right? If we just go back to this and then we pull this off, because the Reliance give us more thrust, more TWR. The 2 of you, well, what is the difference there? 205 instead of 167. It's pretty significant. It could add up. But then we'd need more liquid fuel in either one of the stages, but let's just look at it. Well then, from altitude 12 kilometers, you should be able to see, put all of the engines in here, TWR of 1.24, but we need the liquid fuel that we don't have because we don't have a 3rd stack on there anymore, so the TWR is going to come down, which means that those 2 are not enough as they are, which would mean having to like add thuds in order to cover the difference, which I didn't want. We went away from that in the first place. Yep. But pair of thuds, everybody in the same thing. Don't decouple in the stage that you fire them. Oh my god. People who made this game and sell it for money. So that gets us to 1.73 to have them all burning together. I just don't like it. I don't like any of it. We need like a more powerful engine, but we need the science that we're going to get in order to unlock it. Hello, Score Gaming, by the way. Alright, so if you gotta live with it, if it is gonna be that, then add on the fuel that you need somehow. Somehow? Yeah, just put it in the core. Well, then the core, when we throw it off, the TWR is going to be... It might work out. It might work out. It might be close enough. Good enough for government work. You. No, that's the wrong scale. Which, so... You? That's also the wrong scale? For frig's sake. Which one's... am I sorted by mass? But I want the one that's smaller than that. It's an X200, X900. There's the X200. Put you on, put you on. Now that we've got those engines there, actually, we can carry that much more weight. Yeah, so it's... you start doing one thing, and then you go the other direction, and it's like, oh, well, that negates the whole point of that, which means I just feel like, you know, you get nowhere. You get nowhere. Here. Put you here for now, anyway. That adds up to not what we want. We'd want more. So yeah, go back to this guy. Nope, wrong one. Why do they have to look different? The X200 has the stripes on it, and then the TX440 has the stripes on it, and then the next one down doesn't have the stripes. Ugh. Ugh. Display them all in a way that's not stupid. I guess it's you. You, and then where's that engine? It's right there. 1.41 TWR, 1449 plus 774, that's 2400. It's more than what we want at that point. And then that is firing all of the engines at the same time and then throwing these off when they're empty, and that gets us to 24, and then the Pollux go on. And from sea level, add another 1200, which is excessive. With a TWR of 1.23 off the pad, we can run the liquid fuel engines alongside it a little bit to see where it would go. Let me just, like, cap this off and then step back and think about it. Where's your big old nose cones? Yes, too big. Okay. Where's the one that actually fits you? There you go. And no additional... Oh, there are different things for this. Good. Let's go ahead and... But I can't change that, so it kind of just negates the whole thing. Why even have the option? Okay. Yeah, you guys can stay like that. Better to have it and not need it, says Twitching Astronaut. Better to not take it if you weren't going to need it. Better to know that you don't need it, which is something that I'll never actually get, you know. I'm never sure. I'm always like, just right on the edge of viability. Yeah, this little extra throw on the liquid fuel off, I mean, the thing is, it gives us the TWR that we need, right? So we start off with a 1.23 off the pad, 1183 from those guys, and we can thrust limit them. No, we can reduce fuel. We need all of that thrust. Altitude, though, once we throw those away, let's say it happens at about 12 kilometers, so we throw off the Pollux, then we're on to all of these engines firing at once. We're at a TWR of 1.55. And that's with Reliance, which will also give us the... No, the swivels give the better DV, don't they? Which we don't need, Pawn. Right, but we're over TWR requirements as well. So let me look at what it is with the swivels on there instead. Swivels go in, they go into the right stage, they go into the right stage, they go into the right stage. 1.48. And that reduces our weight on the pad, doesn't change the TWR on that guy. 1.48, which is very reasonable. And then when we're kicking those off, we're back down to 1.41. We managed to, you know, keep that in the realm of what we'd want it all the live-long day. It's just so many engines. It's so many engines. Look at the payload in comparison to the launcher. It's ridiculous. Fly with confidence. Oh, I'll fly with confidence. I just build with the other thing, whatever the other thing is. Tedious. No, that's Bender from Futurama. That's the different thing that you're saying there. I mean, we got enough room to run everything. Let's make sure that the Pollux will actually kick off. Because, my God, are they powerful things. Let's pull them up as high as they can be before they start penetrating the fairing in a way that's really chaps my whatever's chapping right now. And then you guys as well, you're already doing that thing. You know, we could push more push more liquid fuel out to here. Carry more of it there and throw it off. I mean, our TWR here would go... Don't get crazy, Pawn. You're not trying to make the best thing ever. You're trying to make what will get you there today. you spent a lot of time creating the craft. Let's not spend an equal amount of time lifting it to space. So, struts. Struts, 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 struts. With some snapping, I could just strut these two together. The liquid fuel engine will not be burning alongside this, so it wouldn't like melt through that strut until it were gone. Is that the center? Looks like you're the center. And then if I brought you to here, that struts the two of them together at the bottom. They'll move in unison. We would also want to strut them up here to something that we don't take with us. So, two-sided symmetry on this. Grab it. Pull it out. Say out there. That's pretty good. And that keeps those guys stable-ish. We would do ourselves a favor to strut this up as well. Just figure out where you're supposed to go. Let's say about there. And then let's pull it to, I don't know, here. And that'll help stabilize those as well. Alright, let's go through the staging here seriously and try and count this up. So we've got 1100, and let's round it down to 50 off of the SRBs. 1150, that's a very low TWR. We might want to run some engine alongside of it, just a liquid fuel that we can give it a little extra kick to get going. 1.2 is kind of a... you got to get it out of that low gear, you know. So the SRBs fire, and we've got... What did I say? What's the... 1150. And then we drop those, we get into this liquid fuel stage, and we've got, let's round that, 650. So 1150, 650, that's 7, that's 6, and then the 11, and then it's 12, so it's 1800 out of that, with a TWR of 1.28 when we're switching over to those. Is that true? Is that real? Is that fair? Is that right? No, because you're at altitude. TWR of 1.48 with 700, and let's call that 750 as well. So if we were calling this 1150 and that 750, then that's 18, that's 1900 meters per second for the both of those. And then from that 1900 meters per second, when we drop all this crap, which will be, you know, even higher, which is just going to be it's negligible, so let's not count it, and say another 1450 on top of the, what did I say, 1900 meters per second? What? I said it was 1150 and it was 750, which, yes, 1900 plus 1450, which puts us to 1900, 2900, another 450, and then that's not enough to make orbit. Because that's 3250, right? It's close but no cigar kind of a deal. Which is probably where I want to be on this. In terms of like vectoring and stuff like that, in terms of control authority, the thuds along with the skipper should give us a lot of good vectoring stuff. We've got additional TWR here than we need once we hit altitude with that. And we've got more DV there. I think we do want to put more liquid fuel on this stage that detaches. What's the next size of something with the something? There's nothing? Nothing, right? There's nothing? It's just like another one of these, or you go to 3 full stacks either side. Let's see what it's like with 3 full stacks either side. Pull you off, get rid of you. And that has decided to go on differently. We'll care about that some other time. So, you do not fire alongside those. You're supposed to be in here, at least for the sake of testing and whatnot. So from sea level, now we're down to a 1.19. We definitely run the the liquid fuel alongside that a little bit. Still calling it 1150. And then 900 meters per second at a TWR of 1.41. So now we're looking at, what did I say? It's 1150 plus 900, so 2050. That's the 150 that we were missing. And the TWR still looks good. We've got an even TWR between these two stages as we throw them off. That's fun, I guess. And we'll be running the liquid fuel alongside it, so that bit of extra fuel that we're probably bringing along, you know, will get consumed. Okay, I think that might be it. I've just got to all of the things do. So you, apparently, no, just don't, we do it differently. We reattach it. You guys are still hooked up, didn't move you at all. It's just these guys. Get rid of that strut. There should be one up here as well, somewhere. Somewheres. No, you didn't strut these up there. You strut those up there. Okay, so it's just one strut that needs to go back into place. Good enough. And then slide it down a bit so that when it releases, when it gets kicked off by the explosive force of these decouplers, it will, before it then gets grabbed by the wind and go boom. Yeah. Alright, so then, and also, the other thing that we're going to be giving back some of this Delta V2 is, you know, fins of some kind, because the vectoring is not going to help us when we're moving on the SRBs in the first place. And I would like something that does have control surface on it, which would not be the winglets. You know what? We've got so much SAS on the payload, maybe we can get away with just the winglets. Give me 4. Right down there at the bottom. And then between the fact that we'll be running the liquid fuel engines a little bit alongside the SRBs, we'll get some vectoring authority. We'll have huge SAS control from that up there, that advanced reaction wheel that is very much toward the end of this payload. In addition to, you know, SAS that's on here, that's inbuilt to whatever's going on with that. So there's payload all around there. Okay. Okay, this is worth testing anyway. This is worth testing. So, what are we actually going to name the damn thing? Spaceboat. I did actually, I genuinely liked Spaceboat. So, it's going to be 18, because it's still Bob's thing, but it's going to be 18 HMS Spaceboat. Spaceboat! Mark 1. This is Bob's ship, by the way. Don't let Bob see you lick it. That really upsets him. That could work. Maybe. Alright, now let's go through the staging for the 9th time. No, now I've got to actually make sure that the rest of the staging is okay. So we fire the SRBs. We do want some engine to run alongside that with us a bit. And I guess it's better to be throwing liquid fuel off of this stage faster. Maybe it should be called Space Bob. Space Bob! No, I'm going to have to look at the name when it's out there floating around, and I like it being the Space Boat. At least for now. So I think we want to run these. Run the swivels, right? Swivels alongside of it. And then we throw off the big Pollux and kick on the main skipper along with its 2 little thuds that assist it. And then we'll be throwing away these columns. And then we would be the next thing in no vacuum, so we can throw off the, in a vacuum, in space. We can throw off the fairing. And then we're looking at decoupling you and get a new stage. So we decouple and we would fire up this at the same time. Yeah. Yeah. And just out of curiosity and vacuum, 2,465 meters per second in dV on that. And then when we're decoupling you, from there, we would fire up that lander engine. We would unlock that then. That seems about right. Yeah, so what needs to be what we should concern ourselves with now, if the ship is okay, you know, we're just going to fly with it from here, is who's going. Because the ship's going to Bob. It's got several probes on it. It's got a couple, literally, 2. But Bob is going to need a Padawan. He's going to need a trainee, young man to kick around, do the grunt work, because his science lab is going to process science faster if he's got someone to yell at and make feel inferior for a while, until that person realizes that they're actually better than the guy that they're working for, and quits. So it could be Sonri or it could be Ronbert Kerman. They both look the same here. I like Sonri's name, so Sonri's going to come, but you're going to be in the mobile processing lab, and then, you know, my thought is, maybe somebody needs to go with these boys. Maybe we need a pilot, maybe we need Pika Pup. Maybe we need Pika Pup to go up there, because here's the situation that we be facing. Here's what we're going to when we launch this thing. We got Bob in space in a early model of the lander. He's got all the science from Minmus that he collected with that lander, but he didn't have enough Delta V to get himself home. Also, I didn't design the ship to ever come home. It was always planned to just come and pick him up at some point. So, there's going to be this vessel that's left out there that's a 2-seater vessel that we could give some fuel, and it could go do things. It can't return to atmosphere because it doesn't have a parachute on it. I mean, we could bring it a parachute with an engineer and put one on, but it also doesn't have an ablator, so it would have to like slow itself down to the point where it doesn't explode when it's coming back. I don't think any of that is the way to go, and I don't want to complicate it with all of that today. But there is that vessel out there, and it's got 2 docking ports on it. And at some point, someone's going to offer us a contract that we like that says, make a Minmus space station. And that would be 2-seater that's got all of the science that we have on it. You know, it could be a thing. Click on the hangar next to the name of the Kerbal. Really? Hover it? Oh, click on it. And it shows you a bunch of different suits you can put them into? I'm sure it's not actually showing me what Sonri's face will be like, because that's a mod, but I didn't realize that I had all these, that you could change the suits. That's cool. If I click on you, oh, it just takes it cycles through that. I've never seen this before. And is this one you can control the color of? Yes. Oh, how fun. Okay. Yeah, actually, Sonri. This is Sonri? Sonri, being like that. Yeah, that looks like a science boy. He doesn't look fit to fly anything. Go away. But yeah, I like that for the sciencey boy. Pika, however, get rid of you, Pika. What are you wearing? You're just wearing the standard stock uniform. Just fine by me. I'm not opposed to maybe giving you something like this. And if you're helping out the science team today, we could send you in blue to match, you know, that. Here you go. Pika. There, I dressed the Kerbals. That's really important now. But so, you know, we get Pika up there, and then Pika stays in orbit with that craft. We can give it a little bit of fuel if we wanted to. We don't really need to. And then that's got, you know, we've got a pilot in orbit of Minmus for later usage, especially when it starts coming to Minmus space station, Minmus, you know, ground station, fuel, producing fuel and moving it up and down. I think we assign Pika to Minmus. Sanri, are you wearing the right thing? Because now that I've dressed you, now it doesn't look right at all. It's that one. Okay, it's just not picking up the blues in there quite as much. Alright. So we send Pika and Sanri, and then when we get up there, Bob joins the team, and then Pika stays and something in the other thing. Yeah? Yeah? I said, yeah? We could actually bring Ronbert too. Ronbert could come as well. Because then Bob, like, leads the missions and he goes down on the adventures and then he just comes back and he's got his two, you know, little adjuncts who are always working in the lab together. I think we hang on to the one extra scientist that we've got for other purposes, for going elsewhere when times come, and comes times. Alright, so the HMS Spaceboat Mark 1 is ready to go, and I'm going to put it on the pad. You going to put it on the pad? I'm going to put it on the pad. Yeah. Finally ready to launch it. That's 2 live streams building it. Another 2 hours finishing the build. Giving it something to lift itself, putting the lights on and everything. We're finally ready to run the damn mission. Does it actually sit up on its own on the pad? Because I didn't even think about that. Yeah, we're fine. Oh, it looks okay, too. It doesn't look as ridiculous out here as it did in the VAB. This is entirely plausible. SAS on. That's V. SAS on. Throttle to some, because we're going to run these engines alongside it a little bit. And then pause the game and go to live stream break. Because we're about to finally get this, so it's a good time to take a break, you know. Been here for exactly 1 hour after the last live. I'm just nailing it here. 7-minute live stream break. I'll try and make this one actually 7 minutes. A lot of things with the cats and having to pee. It took me a minute. This time I'll try and be back in actually 7 minutes. No guarantees. I'm not giving out coupons over here or anything. But don't go anywhere. Get a snack. Come back. Meet me back here. 7 minutes. Pawn that out.
couldn't quite locate.
Hello, I am the Ronin Pawn, and welcome back to a Twitch live stream on twitch.tv/Ronin Pawn. A little adjustment there to just cut the mic right the fuck out. At least in my headphones, it went off for a second. Maybe it was nothing for you. Welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. We're about to finally launch the damn launch Bob's Sciencing Launchy Pirate is what we're nearly about ready to do. Shouldn't there be sound of some kind outside the Space Center? Did I break all of the... You guys can hear it. What? Hang on. I can see the meters jumping over there. If I just What would if I... There, now I can hear it too. We can all hear the rumble. Sound like explosions? Need to fight a rocket first. Yeah, well, those are coming. Those are almost certainly coming. We actually didn't put any like atmospheric fins that actually can, you know, lean into the wind that we have any control authority over. We've just got fins at the bottom of it doing whatever they're going to do for us, so it's entirely possible. Oh my God, Sanri, I forgot what you looked like. Oh, Jesus. Spending a lot of time by the beach, I guess. Wow, and that haircut. Okay. Pika, you know, you look a little bit more like you deserve to be in a space center. Maybe more in mission control than, you know, you should be a little bit more of a, just ruffle your hair a little bit. Is the thing. Are we truly ready to go, Pawn? I think we're ready to go. SAS is on. Throttle is to some. Staging should be correct. Houston, could you give us a countdown?
Pawn, where is the mouthwash?
Oh, God, here we go. I'm pretty sure you drank it all.
I don't drink the mouthwash. I clean my teeth. I get a lot of things stuck in there, and I don't like dental floss.
Nobody likes dental floss, Houston, but the way that we've gone through the mouthwash, I'm pretty sure you've just been drinking it.
No. And anyway, just run out and get me some, will you?
No, I'm not. I'm about to launch it. I need a countdown from you, actually, because I'm about to launch a shuttle. Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess I can run down to the lab, and I hope the science guys don't need to clean any electronics soon, because we're almost out of the isopropyl, too.
My God, you haven't been drinking isopropyl alcohol, have you? I hope you're cutting it with something.
That's what the mouthwash is for.
Just give us a countdown.
In 3, 2, 1, fire!
And we're up and away. It was a little bit labored and strained. We got it out. Oh, I've got the wrong control points here, and I don't know which. Shit. You, sir, control from control point up. Thank you. Yep. Okay, no, we're fine. We're fine. So we're going, and I do want to cut back off of these engines now that we hopefully don't need them. 100 meters per second created. Oh, we need them. We need... Those engines don't actually give you a lot of control authority there, Pawn. Whoa! 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 Okay, no, we're fine. We're gonna be fine. It's gonna be okay. Uh-huh. Just pull it down. Pull it down. How are we doing on the SRBs? Alright, still a lot left in the tank. Just pull hard. It's a fine craft with so much control aerodynamically in the atmosphere. Oh my God, this thing is just great. I'm holding completely down right now. SRB's about out though, about to go full liquid fuel now. Dropping SRBs. They have impacted the ship as we released them. That's all to plan, as intended. Okay, all full liquid fuel burn now. We're decided not to go equatorial today. Whoa! Nope. Yep. I got it. Lots of control authority now. So much control authority. Would love to switch some things over. 46 on the APWAPs already. Yeah, we're high. Oh, are we high? So we went straight up a lot. It's very pretty anyway. The whole scene here that's commencing. 57 kilometers on the APWAPs. Let's just turn that down aggressively. Like super aggressively. 61 kilometers on the APWAPs. We'll just burn that out on the horizon for the rest of the way, I think. 62.7 and just keep burning. Okay. How are we out in those? Okay, those could go. That's sure. They were empty, apparently, for a minute. Right? And then 62 still, and now we're going very slow because our TWR is... Who designed this ship? Is a question that I'd want to ask. Clearly somebody who's been drinking too much mouthwash. 63 kilometers. You're burning from there. You're not burning from anything up here, right? Because you shouldn't be, like, consuming fuel that's anywhere else. You're not. Good. Okay. Yeah, just gonna put that up there because I don't believe you much. We're doing it. Boy, are we doing it, though. 65 kilometers on the Epwaps now. It's over there, in case you're wondering. It's down there is where we want, and, yep. Speed is good. Periapsis is good. This was not a bad launch, despite what you think, clearly. 66 kilometers on the Epwaps now, and down to the last fifth of liquid fuel. Let's go ahead and try and get that, you know, up enough to be in space when we're in space. We could probably blow the fairing as of right now, but I don't want to. Get me into space before we run out of liquid fuel with our last 150 meters per second of DV. Come on, Apoapsis up, Apoapsis up, Apoapsis up, and we are in space at our Apoaps, and we're out of fuel there. Huzzah. Follow prograde. Lost a thud on SRB separation. Really? Isn't that why it was flying bad? Well, we're still fine, except for... No, we did very well for having lost an entire engine. For anything, really, under any circumstances. I'm going to blow that fairing early. I'm going to drop this. I'm going to blow that fairing when we hit space. What's our app? What? 72. We're fine. We've got time. I can do beauty. No, I can't. The sun just went away. Son of a bitch. So yeah, that's how I fly. Welcome to my program. There you go. And then follow prograde from there. We're in space. Okay, fairing going away in 3, 2, 1. Fairing away. Oh, that's beautiful. I don't think I've ever blown a fairing that big. Look at that. It's going out, and the flux capacitor is enabled, Doc. Okay. We're in space, and we only have negative 58 kilometers on the periapsis to scrub off. This did not go poorly, as much as it would appear. We're not far off equatorial now that we're up here. Not far off of it. Coming up in the Apoaps shortly. So next step would be full throttle. Next time I hit spacebar, next stage, we switch over to that guy. Let's do it now. Okay, there you go. Give me this, and no, stop. We don't need to be burning this early. It's good. It's good. It's normal. It's the way that anybody would do it. Start burning a little bit on that skipper. Periapsis is coming up now. Burn full horizon if I can. Yep, just bringing her up slow. Get us a perfect circularization. 72.1 on this side. It does keep listing up, I could say. Alright. Yeah, just slow and short. And steady wins the race. 72.1 and 72.078. Might as well be exactly the same, except for 100 meters worth of separation. We are in orbit around Kerbal with Bob's space thing. Yeah, give me free. Free cam. His space majigger is, I'm pretty sure, what he calls it, because he can never remember what it's called. Let's take it to a sunny side of things in order to deploy it. So, round the planet we do go, and the sun is rising. Find your prograde again, please. Electric charge, we've got a lot on here. Seems like a well-built craft. Don't look too hard. Okay, so, time to deploy some stuff. I'm F5ing. We made it up here. We didn't spend too much of the Delta V that was in the mothership getting here. I think we're good. That's why there were two all planned. Yeah, we put two engines on either side so that we could blow one, just in case, kind of a thing. So if I recall correctly, 8 would deploy our solar panels. I was wrong. That's comms. Comms is deployed. Alright. Solar panels going out in 3, 2, 1. Make sure you tie down that mizzen mast. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And then we will want some ship lighting. I'm gonna have to F5 for this because I'm not sure which button I put the ship lighting on. Would that be 5? It's 5. There we go. Ship is now lit. Oh, I love how that looks. Yeah. You forgot the Jolly Roger. I'm right here. What are you talking about? Hi. Did you not notice me? I know I'm fat, but you still have to look at me. Oh, that's beautiful. Yep, just sailing the Kerbal seas. Just get that shot. Just like, no, but then you're in it. If only I weren't here. Can I not be here, actually? There we go. Huh? Yeah. Yeah. Yar. Yeah, okay, I need to, and then if I could come back, please. Thank you. Yes. I remember following this channel during the cluster truck controversy cheating thing, and I don't think I've ever typed in chat. It says JDenD. JDenD? Now we've got extras. We've got extra Den-Ds riding around. It's Jaden. But we've got a Den-D here, so that's where my mind went. Look. We're in the bottom part of the ship is floating. Oh, this is brilliant. I'm so happy. Alright, so we're not done, though, because we need to reassemble and reconfigure the ship. This is not how she's meant to fly. This was just how she was packed in order to get her up here. So we're going to F5, and next stage would be decouple. Throttle is down. Decoupling in 3, 2, 1. We are indeed away. We are indeed away. Okay. Give me some RCS. I'm going to switch control points to forward. No! Okay, that's not what I meant to have, but it's fine, because RCS is now on, and we'll chase the ship a little bit. We wanted a challenge, right? That's why these things are like this. So there, and then N. We're gonna back it up, back it in. Need a bit more N here. So I'm setting the target. Setting that docking port to our target. Switch to targeting speed so I can see what's going on here. Alright, we're heading back toward them. And then really we should control from here. So if we're controlling from there, I just gotta stop, I gotta think of that as the front of the ship, which should mean that this would get us going in that direction. Down is still down. Directions are still, well, they're kind of upside down. What are you gonna do? So we're just gonna float this in and link it up the way that it's supposed to be. While we're here, might as well test, it was 6 and 7, right? So 7 unlocks it. 6 plays the animation. Plays the animation. Plays the animation. Nope, there's... Okay, what? That... Okay, yeah, because that's we're controlling from there. So 6 plays the animation and 7 locks it. It works now. Good. 7. Not... We're controlling from that point, though, Pawn. Alright, here we come. A little bit more back off room. No. Okay. Yeah, let's get in a little bit lower. We've got just the smallest little micro RCS ports on here. Greetings from a man who can't get a rocket into Kerbal orbit without not having enough fuel to return. Oh! Greetings of a reply from a man who has that problem quite often himself. Yeah, so there we go. Low enough. Gonna get close, but not so close as the magnets kick in. I should have, like, at least reduced how much force the magnets have on these docking ports. I'm not even worrying about my approach at this point. I just want to get close, and then come to more or less a full and complete stop right here. That's pretty good. And then we'll line up. We'll go to a locked cam, which is apparently upside down because I put that on upside down. That's something we get to live with forever with this crap. That's fine. It actually looks a little bit more convenient to try and work with. So we've got that. What's our alignment look like? We look like we've got the right uppy-downy angle there. So now, I to go down, K to go up. Let's drift this in a little bit more. I'm not ready to be snapped forward by the magnets, so just gonna drift. And also just doing this by eye, because without mods, I don't think there's anything in the game that really allows you to do this in a way that makes sense. Can I aim camera at you? Yeah, and I can see you're drifting down. It's close. Now I need a little bit of up. That's pretty good. And I think I'm ready to drive it in. F5. H. Make some little adjustments as we go. But the magnets are going to do most of the work at this point. Boom. What a kiss. And our ship is assembled, and she looks very upright. Very, very upright. Ah, the HMS... What's it called again? Space Boat. The HMS Space Boat. Assembled and in orbit and ready to go. Huzzah. F5. Now, what I'll need to do at this point is disable this engine, which could have been on an action group, but we can always fix that if we want here live in space, because now we'll just be running that as our main engine. RCS is off, SAS is fine, our electric charge is... We've got so many panels on this thing, I should bloody well hope that we would never have an issue with running out of electric charge. And look at our sails turn into the wind. Oh, and there's the moon. We'll be coming to you eventually. Not you. Or you. Not with this ship, probably. Maybe. That's so good. And it looks so good. It's so well lit. I'm so happy with all of that. Your lighting is all on, right? Yeah. All the lighting is happening. Beautiful. Beautiful. We have assembled in orbit around Kerbal, and it is now time to go... Yeah, our periapse has changed pretty significantly. It's now time to go to Minmus. Set you as my target. And this is not a horrible time to be leaving for Minmus. We're going to have to go around once more to catch it at a ideal point to leave. But other than that, pretty well set up. That is Minmus, right? I've occasionally targeted the moon thinking that it was Minmus. So we'll just head out in her direction, and we'll figure out how we need to link up with Bob once we're on our way. You know, another thing that we could do as we come into the sunrise once more, thing that we could potentially do is before we leave here, what if we got all of the science we could get from right here? You know? So, I've got a button for that. Let's see if it just works when I press 1. F5, 1. Okay, yeah, no, everything's going up. Oh, and my mizzen mast wasn't even deployed. I don't know what a mizzen mast is, but it's the funnest of the masty words to say, you know? So what if I just put that there? Would that be like, and then you don't go up? You don't try and jump up? Kitten, now you just come to my lab? Magnetometer report is something we've never done before here, apparently. So are we going to process it in the lab, or are we going to keep it? We're processing it in the lab. Put you in the lab. Crew report in space near Kerbal, that goes in the lab. Atmospheric pressure scan near Kerbal, that goes in the lab. Temperature scan in space near Kerbal, in the lab. Temperature scan in space near Kerbal. Why are there 2 of those? In the lab. Because it's already got the data, can't do it. Do I have 2 thermometers on here? Shit. Throw the whole thing away. Shit, let's launch it again. Mystery goo. It's clumped into a sphere. It also appears to become brittle. In the lab with you. Microgravity has greatly affected the growth of crystalline structures. Loose objects are flying around the bay in a very messy but fascinating way. Beautiful. Do all of those things. You're all open. You need to be, like, you know, fixed and stuff. Why did we have 2 thermometer reports? Oh, I'll bet there's a thermometer embedded inside of that. Yeah, I can see right there. Right there's an extra thermometer. Damn it. Well, what are you gonna do? Except push the cat back down onto the cat chair. Yes, you stay there, hon. Alright, so we're going to Minmus now, and then once we've started this burn, we've got time. Let's fix it now. F5. So our scientist, Sonri Kerman, gonna have your first... Oh, the lighting is so good. Oh, it's so good. So deploy. Well, let go of the ladder is the other thing. The other way to say that. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's bring you over here. Oh, I love the spacesuit too. It's just because it's something different in the first place, but it really does look like this is not a pilot. It could be. He's wearing a parachute in space. This is not a space pilot. I'm just saying. Sonri, come on out here. What I'm going to want from you is to restore the mystery goo and restore the Science Junior, and everything else should have just been emptied and is fine and doesn't need restored, right? Is there anything else that needs you to handle it in order to put it back into function? I don't think so. The magnetometer reports that you download, and then it's empty and it's ready to be used again. Yeah. Alright. Sonri, get back on board. I'm hoping you got the ability to get fuel making and ore collecting. Well, with the science that we're going to get from all of this, we will finally be able to afford those parts and start buying into them. Yeah. F5 one more time because we've reset everything. The other thing is 0. Deploy my mizzen mast. And leave it deployed. That's how she's supposed to be. Now F5. And where are we in terms of leaving from Minmus? Just about there. Get on your prograde and hold it for this burn. And we are just going to burn for it and find out where we happen to be. No maneuver nodes today. Thank you very much. It's a pretty good engine in terms of the TWR. We get about just under 1.0 TWR with this engine. I'll start the burn. You're supposed to be on your prograde. Now. Wow, that's a loud one. Wow, that's a loud one. What's it sound like in here? What about up front? Bye, Kerbal. Burning the Minmus. Oh, we're also consuming the fuel from the... Yeah, hang on, let me stop that as it is. So disable cross feed on you, and then we will have burned some of the fuel there. We'll have to put it back in. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Glad that connector worked out, says Truckman. Yeah. Yeah, it was incredibly simple way to do it, not at all the way that I had hoped to do it. It feels a little bit, but I love the way that it looks. I love the way that it functions. So we push out to Minmus. We should get science at every point that we possibly can along the way, because we've never had a mobile lab in space before. God, that moon always getting in my way. Show me Minmus! No? Alright, we'll need an inclination change in order to finish that up. Yeah though. Yeah though? Yeah though. We're good, and while I'm still thinking about it, F5, let's sort this thing out. So, enable crossfeed on you, and this is going to be a bit of a nightmare, isn't it? So, open you up, and then I want the fuel from everywhere else. Do I really have to do this with all of these tanks? I mean, if you want the weight balancing. Do I really want the weight balancing? Maybe. You. It's just such a micro amount to then say, in, from over here. In. Why can't I? Why can't I transfer? Why you have an in option? You to you, and you won't give me the option to transfer. Well, go ahead and fuck that then. Out, out. What? Have you got crossfeed? Like, enable crossfeed on you. So you were sucking across a disabled crossfeed on one side. Because I've just gone through an enable-disable cycle. This game, man. This game. So now, if I do that, yay! Now we can transfer. This game, though. And if I did want to maintain... You know what? Just pull from... Don't worry about the balls. Just pull from, like, here and here on everything. And then say, in. And we'll just fill up the lander stage. Back like it was supposed to be. Bing, bang, bang. Bang. In. We need to open the doors here. This is gonna take... It's just such a nuisance, isn't it? Made all the worse by the fact that apparently I did disable crossfeed across one of them, but it just prevented it from sending it in one direction and not the other, which is weird. In. And then from you... No. Restart on everything. You. And then... Shit, which is the one? It's you. In. Fuel transfer. One of the funnest parts of the game. You're good. Both of those are good. The last place that we hide fuel on here is we've got a couple of Oscar B's tucked under. So, bang, bang. Bang, bang. In. And then the last Oscar B, you. In. Okay. That should be this stage with all of its fuel And now I will disable cross-feed on both of these. And hopefully that actually works this fucking time, huh? F5, where are we? We're 341 kilometers above Kerbin, so I'm thinking that that's high orbit now. That's high space over Kerbin. So if I collect all the data again... Yes, high over Kerbin, which is data that we don't already have in the lab. Huh? We're gonna... This is the moment where suddenly we become science people. Before we've just been running missions because they were available. Now we're gonna get them all. So materials study? Yes. Crew report? Yes. Atmospheric pressure? You're worth something in the lab? Yes. Temperature scan? Yes. Magnetometer report? That's a good one. Kerbin's magnetic field is weaker here, but still easily detectable, and this instrument maps the field fluctuations as they radiate into deeper space. And finally, mystery goo, which apparently we haven't collected and returned from high... I mean, we've still got recovery points there. Doesn't matter to us. It's all data for the thing. It's gristle for the mill, or mill for the gristle, however that goes. Or grist for the... and then the other... Sonri, get back out, because we need you to do that thing where you fix... where you restore all of the scientific modules. Which is just these two. I'm glad that it is just those two. Oh, wait a second. Can I use the thing to do this without having to get out and do it? Can't I use the lab to say restore all modules? That will make things even better. The other thing you can do with one of these science modules is level up your Kerbins while they're away from the KSC without having to bring them back. Okay, give me orbital. Yes. Much nicer. So that should be all of the things in all of the places and everything cleared out. And just to confirm that, if I right-click on the mobile processing lab, it might come up when I've got modules that need to be restored, that I have the ability to right-click and say restore modules connected. But there's the other thing, level up crew. At any point I can hit that button, and if there was somebody who could get experience from it, they would level up. F5. I believe that works in like a radius too, like around your craft. Did I actually get far enough out to be able to see whether or not I've got an encounter with Minmus? Don't worry about it, Pawn. Okay, I won't then. Let's warp to up here. Halfway to Minmus now. And then what we'd want to pull this down is an anti-normal burn. Ship turns on a dime too for as big as it is. I mean, with all those rudders and sails, it damn well should. But F5ing from here and just going ahead and giving it the burn. Twist the app-waps down. I think I did need a little bit more prograde for this. We can at least get our ascending-descending nodes in the right direction. And that should be good. And then give me a bit of prograde. A little fizz warp to make that turn even faster. And we have an encounter with Minmus, so let's see where we're going. Because we're here to link up with Bob, who is not in Sonri's pod, not in Kelbert's wreckage, not in Ronbert's pod either. Bob is right down here in the SS Science, not Her Majesty's ship. So you're my target. And that'll be actually good. We'll come in real fast. Are you going in the right direction, son? Yeah, you're going that way, so we can come in on this side and just link up with him. So more prograde to bring our periaps in. He's at 10k over Minmus. Means we will get a nice Oberth effect off of this, whipping through Minmus's SOI as quickly as we will be doing. Okay, no, just keep the burn. No, stop! Fuck, alright. I pressed the wrong button there. RCS, though. And then... yeah. That's what I was thinking. Use the RCS on this ship. Periapse is pretty good there. We'll need a bit of a twist once we're there. But bringing all that stuff together all at the same point, that ain't bad at all. So F5 from there. Well, RCS back off, F5. And we're still just in space high over Kerbal, which we already got. But the moment that we're in Minmus space, that's more data for us. So warp us again. Where's Kerbal? Kerbal's back there. And Minmus should be a little goo bubble coming up. Well, there's Moho. Looks pretty big from here. Oh, there's the goo bubble. Hello, goo bubble. You're getting on prograde, huh? Okay. This boat's crew will either be stuck on Minmus or Kerbal orbit with no way back onto the surface of Kerbal. Joyful. Yeah, Bob didn't want to come back. He's angry with us. He said, "I'm just staying out here. I don't need you suckers." That's what he said. I didn't want to repeat his fucked up words that shithead. But, you know, I mean, it's really dirty suckers. But anyway, that content. I just didn't want to subject you to the same kitten on my desk that I'm dealing with. What are you doing? What are you doing? There you go, Kelly. Just taking a lap. So now that we're in Minmus's SOI, F5 once more, and hit the 1 button, and that's the numpad 1 button. You can still hear me, right? Because that's what I turned my mic on with on the other one. Hit the 1 key, and the science come a-rolling back in. Yeah, now that we're mid-mission, it's laid back, crack a few brews, do some spacing. Magnetometer report worth 635 data in the lab. Put it in the lab. Looking at this, what is this? This is Minmus, space high over Minmus, crew report, pressure scan, temperature scan. It's impossible, right? Got it. Goo, seeming fine here. Materials study, high radiation. Okay. That was all the things, wasn't it? Like our thermometer was empty, right? Yes, it was, and we got it all out. So now, if I right-click on here, do I have clean experiments? I do have a clean experiments option here. So I'm going to hit that. Well, I'm going to F5 first, because I just don't trust the game for anything. Clean experiments, boom. And now it's cleaning out the Science Junior. And when it's done, it'll do that. By the way, quit bringing in my mizzen mast. That's why I put it on a key, because I expected every time I got science, it would come back in. Stay out. I love the blast of color from, what is this? Just wiring? Just the way that they did the wiring in there? It's such a nice model. I mean, it's not the original. It's the restock texture pack. Okay, so that cleans my experiments, and Sanri didn't even have to get out of the ship. So I guess Sanri's happy. I refuse to start processing any of the science, to start the research on it, until Bob is aboard. Again, already pissed off with us. Don't need to give him any other reasons. So... where are we now? Now we want to go to low Minmus and do the same thing. But actually, we just want to catch our orbit first. So... for this, because it's going to be an inclination change at the same time, I will do this with the maneuver node. So we'll put a little bit of normal on it, and a lot of retrograde. And then we'll just get into... Let me do this down here too, because this is just, it's better. It works better. Control you a bit there, and then what are we looking at on our app-waps and peri-apps and everything? So, yeah, higher fidelity, lower fidelity. So we're better off if I leave us there with our burn, because we'll run into him real quick out here. Run into him on the next circuit. We will be within 2 kilometers of him. So that's where we'll burn to this time. Our inclination could be better. Try and find that place where the ascending and descending nodes are flipping around real hard. That puts us perfect there. That's an F5, and then we're going to go there and we're going to do that burn. 147 meters per second is what it's going to take. It's going to leave us with some amount of delta V. It's 13 minus 100 is 1280, plus minus is 1240 something, around there. 1240 meters per second, and delta V will be left in the mothership. F5 again. Take me to this node. Yar! Yar! Here we come. So burn in 54 seconds, burn time of 12 seconds. Take me to stability assist, and let's get on that target. Should just be mostly retrograde with a little bit of skew in order to get our inclination back on. That's what we're seeing. About there. So for a 12-second burn time, if we burn full, and we do want to burn full because we're getting a nice O-berth effect right here that will reduce the amount of delta V that it costs because we're moving so fast, and we want to start that burn 6 seconds, and then do half of it either side. So in 10, 9, 8, 7, we're now 6, burn. Stay with my target. Okay, within 1 meter per second of the intended burn. What did we get? We're close, but our target intersect is a lot different. So what I'm going to do to change that is I'm going to get on our retrograde, and I'm going to grab some RCS, and I'm just going to burn down until we've got that 2 kilometer separation. And curiously, like, could I improve that separation burning in... You know what? That is a fine separation. Don't waste your monoprop on it. Beautiful. So then when we come back around, we need to slow down to his speed, which means that now we'll be switching over to our target. F5, and now that we're in low orbit around Minmus, we can also collect the science here. Could you give me free cam mode? Yeah. If we're in orbit around a planet, I feel like it should be underneath us. Also, it's a ship. It should be level with the horizon. The one button yet again. Is that it? So we've got the material study, the crew report, atmospheric pressure scan, temperature, magnetometer, mystery goo. That seems like that's all of the things that should be there. Cannot analyze data as the lab is full of data. Well then, I'm going to hit the 2 button, which should suck all of the data that it can into here, that's a cargo storage unit. It should suck it all into here, the experiment storage, so now we can see that we've got those bits in there. Okay. 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 So yeah, just keep all that. because we'll chuck it in later. And we're good? No. We want to then clean the experiments. And we're cleaned out. And we're cleaned out. Seems like after you clean them out the first time, it just kind of happens instantaneously. The first time takes a bit, and then it happens instantaneously. I wonder if that's a bug or intended because it was a nuisance. They have to keep cleaning them out over and over and over. Waiting, anyway. F5 again. And yeah, we're going around. So, warp me here. I was gonna say, we didn't miss it, did we? Damn crazy ass game. Still a 2-kilometer separation when we get there. Alright, well you're lying about it now, but that's fine. I don't need that. I don't need that data. Boom, get me back down. So where you at, boy? Where you at? Who you with? I can't find you. You below me? You can below me. Get me on my retrograde. And my retrograde in reference to the target is not where I want to be. I need to know where the target is. If I can't find him in the sky, I'll find him on the ball. Where are you? Where are you? Is this you? This would be your pro target, right? That would be the pro grade target. So if I start burning like that, then our speed difference between us and him start decreasing. As I push my retrograde toward his anti-target. And then about there is where we'd want to stop. So now we have 5 meters per second of velocity in his direction, which is apparently down here. Yeah, he's lower than we are. Wow, what a sight. What a shot. It's like, yeah, that's how we want to burn. Straight toward the planet. We good? Yeah, we're good. We could do a lot of this with monoprop at this point, but let's just let it roll. A bit of warp, and we'll sneak up on him. Don't forget to subtract the delta V for the lander refill. It shouldn't be draining anymore. Okay, we're drifting too far now off of what we need. I'm going to try and do this with monoprop just to save the actual liquid fuel. Let's see what kind of reaction we can get from this. So I'm actually putting some speed on. There we go. RCS off. Alright, here we go. Here our friend does come. That's Bob down there, by the way. You think he can see the ship yet? You think he's noticed it? He's like going, oh, what a wonderful Christmas gift. Or if he's like down there going, those bastards, they think they can buy me off after leaving me stranded out here for blah, 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 blah. How do you characterize bobbing your head? F. RCS back on. It's back on the target. And keep burning some in his direction. We'll burn past him a bit since we've got a drift. And then back into a little bit of warp. How are we doing on our monoprop? 76 across the whole ship, that's fine by me. Yep, looks like I burned past him perfectly to have us coming right up on him as our drift aligns with his. Okay. It's just 2.5 meters per second that we've got going right now. Yeah, we can just keep warping. Especially until he's... That's what I'll do. Oh, Jesus. Maybe that's not what I'll do. He's getting real close. Bob? We're here. We brought you a Christmas present. Hope you like it. Yeah, that's a reasonable monoprop burn. There you go. Now you headed in right at him. Bob has a low orbit. Yes. Yes, he does. He likes to be deep in those seas. F5ing again from here, because everything's going pretty well. Still just sneaking up on him. Yeah, we don't gotta wait all this time. Come on, let's get there. Everybody enjoys sailing, but come on. Just a little bit of the actual fuel. Where you going, Bob? That's precisely where I want you. Right on the horizon. Yes, sir. Hi, Bob. We didn't forget you. It'll be a Merry Christmas. Ah, that's so satisfying to see these two ships married up at Minmus, parked like that. Bob, it's time to come aboard your vessel. They're all excited. There he is, Bob Kerman. Yep, stand that sucker upright, Bob. Ready to go? Ready to inherit your craft? Hit. Hit. What do you want to see first? The lab? The lab. Of course he wants to see the lab first. Look at his eyes. He does look... He's either gone crazy in space by himself, or he is or a bit of both. Very excited to receive the ship. This is yours, Bob. It's all yours. Your own pirate vessel. Now, if you wouldn't mind ceasing the duplication of DVDs, the FBI has just been really pissed off. I don't need these calls from them anymore. Welcome, Bob Kerman, to the HMS boat ship? Boat ship? Shipboard! What was it called? Welcome to the... I can't remember the name of it. What's our vessel info? Where's that? Huh? There's... it's somewhere... it's right there. There it is. I didn't see it. I don't care. The HMS boat ship. HMS Bob ship. Bobbing boat ship. The boating Bob ship. Oh, and look at the sun. The sunset is just casting rays. Oh, it must be the sun is setting over there in space. I love the lighting too. We did so good. Okay, so the plan was, you know, Pika could be like the pilot for these two and just stick with them, or he could go and occupy this thing. Go and like just have that. Just be there with it. Is the thing that could should he what if the why does it read 507 meters per second on you? Maybe because it's just different alignment and shouldn't be considered and that kind of a deal. Yeah. Does Pika, you're here, right? Pika, are you staying with Bob? Are you going to be the pilot for these scientists? Because somebody's got to drag them around. I mean, they've got probes, so, but, somebody's got to keep them safe. Or are you going to man this and wait for the day upon which we start building an orbital Minmus Majigger Madoodle? Are you part of the science crew officially and forevermore? Or do you want to be the first occupant of what will eventually become the Minmus boat ship? What? No, the Minmus orbital station platform. If I don't hear from you in 3 seconds, then you're getting off of the ship and you're going over there and you're going to sit in that corner and just think about the fact that you didn't type fast enough for a very long time. 2, 1, 0, -1. See how fair I am? I'm giving him to -3. You're done. You can't exit because the hatches are obstructed. Well, we can fix that. Can we fix that? Is there a way to? Oh shit! How do we fix that? We can fix that by. I'm just going to unlock it manually because I'm not sure about these buttons that I've got. You got to use them. It's 6 unlocks it, and then 7 does that. It's part of the design. Pika, step out. And step off. These scientists, they don't need babysitters, apparently. I'm gonna go be the pilot here. Board it. Yeah, board it. And what do you got in there? You've got 43 meters per second of delta V. Shoot, you're fine. We didn't even need to come up here. Why didn't you just bring yourself home? Yeah, from this position, from this position? All right, how about from this position? I'm hitting 7 as hard as I can. 6, and then 7. Okay, from this position, 6 is not supposed to play anything, damn it. 7 is the one that plays it. Or am I crazy? Maybe 7 is the one that locks it. So 7 again to unlock it, 6 plays it. I am crazy. 6 plays it. And then once it's stable, we hit 7 to lock it. Okay, got it. It's 6 and 7. That should be impossible for me to remember. We could give him some fuel, is the thing. He's got docking ports. We've got docking ports. We could give him a little bit of fuel. I think we should try and give that craft a little bit of fuel for another day. We've got 1,220 meters per second in this guy. Let's try and give him some fuel. Which will require all of my skill, or at least, some small, minuscule portion of it. But we're going to try, usually the smaller ship would be docking to the larger ship, but that just ain't the way that this is happening today. In fact, give me a locked camera view. Yeah, so where is he? Where you at? You're down there? Okay. I'm going to come at you with my dick dock. I mean, what I'm trying to point at you right now, where it happens to be on the craft, it's kind of that. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just drop down on you with this thing, and you just be ready. So point your dick dock at me, generally speaking, because I'm dropping on you, son. I want specifically that docking port, though. Well, maybe we're not close enough yet. So I'll just... Yeah, no, I got the docking port there. Okay, so R, N. No, N is best. It's I is what you wanted. Yeah, I to start driving us there. And if I do that thing again in control from here... Yeah, much better. I don't have RCS control. I don't have a bunch of different directions of RCS control, so I'm just, I blew off so that I won't slam into him. Yeah, we've got clearance, but I don't, there's a bunch of different directions I don't have. I've got left and right, I don't have everything else, so control from here, but is not actually like changing the RCS alignment, but it is because it's stopping me from being able to use RCS in the proper way. Aim camera at you, by the way. What? Like, I have not K, nor I, nor H, nor N from this position. And I mean, I've got dorsal ventral and stuff like that. I guess I have to steer it from the other direction because of how I've configured it or something. Let's control from here, and we'll give that another try. So where'd you go? You gotta be above me now. Yeah, this is fine, I'll just land my dick on you like I planned in the first place. I was trying to make it more convenient for you. RCS is still on. It's okay, back in your direction. And then I believe you're... Yeah, a bit over that way. We're getting further and further away from you, so that ain't getting it done.
In the not-too-distant future, next Sunday, AD, there was a guy named Bob, not too different than you or me. He worked in a satellite loading bay, just polishing switches to pay his way. He did his job well with a cheerful face, but Porn didn't like him, so he shot him into space.
I liked him fine. He wanted to be in space. Don't you sing the song wrong. It's pretty good. Alright, quit drifting. Doing all this by eye because I don't want to be bothered with trying to chase it around on the ball right now. Monoprop down to 60 of what we brought up. That's fine. If I get us just drifting in that direction and then I flip us over... then we're back into more or less what we're supposed to be. I'm going to turn on the headlights and landing lights. Yeah, that's got those on. Will help us see as we drift over the top of them. Seems like we need some forward here. And to stop descending so much. Okay, I guess this is how we're lining this up. Pushing over him. I'm going to leave everything out. We should be able to get away with that. Yeah, there's the landing lights. Pretty good on the camera work for a middle mouse click kind of a situation. And then that's the docking port that we want to attach to that docking port. So, just gonna... Okay. I'm just gonna... Oops. Just gonna lower us first. I mean, actually, it's a simple refueling situation here, so it's not like it needs to be perfect. If I can get us close enough that the magnets grab, we'll be fine. It looks like we got clearance on that antenna, as long as I come down correctly. Yeah, we're looking good. If I switched over to the other craft quickly and helped, and got back to this guy quickly. RCS off, and we have a connection. We're docked. Nice. Nice. We got a fuel transfer situation. F5 from here. How we doing in terms of not crashing into Minmus, by the way? We're still above 10k, so that's, if but barely, good. So, if we want to refuel him, give him a little bit of fuel. I mean, why not? We're here, he's here. Might as well. If I gave him fuel from... Let's see, so that's the best place to shove it. And then bang. Bang. And then in. Yes, was that a haiku, Dramatian? Okay. So that gives him some fuel. Not a ridiculous amount. I'm going to F5, and then I'm going to detach just to try and figure out like what everybody's fuel is, and then I'll F9 after we know that if I don't like it. So, undock. Ours is now 1134, so we gave him a little less than 100 meters per second of our delta V, or we sacrificed 100 meters per second of ours, and he's now got 513. That's a lot. That's a, you want to go back down to Minmus and do shit? Like, we want him to be able to, like, he doesn't really need, yeah, much. Give the other ship monoprop? I don't know that this ship ever had any mono on it. Yeah, we have no mono, and I don't think that we ever had any monoprop controls. So, yeah, there's nothing to exchange. I can leave him like that. Wait, he's up to 714 meters per second? Why is it 714 now? It's getting better as time goes. Well, did we get some back? It's a lot of fuel to, like, leave with him. I'm gonna F9 and take some back. Transfer the science over. Oh, right, that was the main thing. Was that he's got a bunch of landed science for us. Start the lab. That's another thing that we're supposed to be doing, huh? Go to free cam. Get on your... No, you can get on your retrograde. It's easier. It's quicker to get to. Just be flat. Because it's such a nice looking ship. It really needs to, like, pose for the camera. But yeah, we can, number one, transfer the science over, which I could do as easily as pressing the 2 key. And that will have sucked everything from the ship over to our experiment storage unit there. And then we can start up the lab because Bob is here. He's ready to supervise, ready to process some science. Let's do it. Start research. The electric charge that it's consuming is going wild now. It's sucking up quite a lot. If we turned SAS off, RCS off, it doesn't really make a difference, does it? Not so much. Okay. Well, it costs a lot to run our lights as well. It's fine. We've got huge sails into the solar winds. It'll be sunrise soon, I'm sure. But that gets all of that data off of there and into here, which means we can turn all that data into something that we process in here. In fact, can we, like, collect the science directly to you somehow? No. Do you have a rescue to acquire? A rescue? Like a mission? Do we have missions still? I've got a lot of tourists that I need to bring up. I'm supposed to position a satellite in specific orbit of Eve at some point. There is a rescue Kerbal from orbit of Minmus. I do have a rescue. Well. Wow. I still feel like this guy's got too much fuel. Like, way too much fuel. But we should go find out what that rescue is. If I do you, and then you, and you. Out, out. Stop, stop. It's close. It's close to being something. So what are you thinking, Dramatian, then? Should we go try and rescue this whoever it is that's stranded up here, this SOB? Hey, the sun has risen. As I hear it does also do, in addition to setting. Should we rescue this dude with the with this craft? We've just got a little bit of fuel in. Because Pika's in there now, right? We transferred you over. You got Pika, why not? Yeah. Yeah, and it's a two-seater, might as well. So I'm going to F5 again, and I'm going to undock again. And hopefully he's got like a more reasonable amount of fuel now. We've got 1181 left in the mothership here. And he now has 375 meters per second of DV around Minmus. Which seems reasonable to be able to do a few things. Well, unless this mission is rescue Kerbal, and if Kerbal is all the way up there, we might be able to get it done. It's Minmus, for Christ's sake. It doesn't take any Delta V to get anywhere at Minmus. Let's see, when would we want to leave for that? I'm going to add a maneuver and give us some DV. Okay, more than that. Let me go down here and do it where, you know, works. Yeah, a little bit more, and then leave a little later. Later. So, what? You're gonna be there? Oh, you're going in the opposite direction. Oh, you're going in the opposite direction, though. How fucking fun. How fun of the fucking fucks that you'd fuck with the fuck. He's going in the opposite direction, though, is the thing. So, you know, that's good, right? That's... Go polar. Yeah. Like, but the way that we would do that to be efficient would be that we would blow ourselves out. Like, we would go all the way out as far as we could. Because it doesn't cost much to go all the way to the edge. And then we'd reverse our directionality. And then we'd come back down to him. Shall we try it? And I'll stay away from the F5s. Apparently it doesn't really matter when we leave because everything kind of sucks. I mean, maybe it does matter because if I leave here and then I change my direction, then when I'm coming back, if he's here when I'm there, wait, so I go up there, And then he would be there when I'm there, but then I switch my direction and head back down here, and because he's going in this direction, he'll be... And that's the second pass, by the way, that I'm looking at. I don't know. Let's do this, though. Let's do it because we can, and why not? We'll try it. So... When would this be? Node in 45 minutes. Alright. Well... We've got power, we've got some fuel, we left our science with the other craft. Peek-a-pup, it's time to go save somebody from something, maybe. I would like to know that you don't crash through the other craft when we do this. Okay, that's a camera view, is what that is. It's definitely a view. Yeah, I guess we're going to want to be orbital. So burn time of 7 seconds to get this done, and look at how, like, well parked we were next to one another. After 45 minutes, that's the amount of drift we've got. Wow, really? Yeah, because you didn't have the SAS on. Okay. Yeah, this should just be full prograde when we go to burn it. I didn't do anything more complicated than a full prograde burn. So burn time of 7 seconds. I'll start burning at 7 at half speed. No benefit of O-berth here. There you go, burning half throttle as... Oh, hi, bye! the cat is just... She's jumping up. Oh, the timing of things, the way that it goes for me. Uh-huh. Nearly. Cat's jumping up as I'm whipping past a pirate ship on my right. That'll be good enough, we'll say that. Right? And then we go out to the Apoaps. Yeah, just warp up here. See if I care. Because I do. All the way up to this Apoaps. And then we're moving our slowest that we could possibly be moving around the planet. 7.2 meter per second orbit. So in order to reverse our directionality, because we blew all the way out here, we're so far outside the gravity well. Look at how much I have to warp in order to just move a little bit at the Apoaps. The energy required to reverse this is as low as it's going to get, well, we're in the SOI anyway. Which is why we came out here to do it this way. And now, I will reverse our directionality by simply burning retrograde. Which will then become prograde. And now, I'm going to try and push my parry to his periapsis height. So he's at 360. I'm going to go to 360. Or I'm just going to stop when our ticks are really close to one another, because that's, relatively speaking, in space, that's really close. So now when we come down, we should be going the same direction. We should be right next to him. We got 289 meters per second of DV to scrub what needs a scrubbed. In terms of ascending and descending nodes for trying to link up with them, if I go to my ascending node and then twist from there, that'll be the most efficient burn that I'm going to get for that action. So let's warp to here. Whoa, oh, no, I forgot which direction we're going now. So I should go to my descending node, which is going to be way better because we're further outside of the the gravity well, the sphere of influence. So if I head down to the descending node... Hey! Why do you just go right past it then? Did I not click on the descending node? It's fine, I guess. So this would be... hard to tell whether it's anti-normal or... I think it's going to be normal. I'm going to guess normal because we're going in the opposite direction around it, but we want to twist it down. Yes. See? So it's down, but it's opposites and they attract or something. And there you go. We should be on a perfect line with him at this point. And now, I'm really curious if from here Just gonna add a node and see how good I could get our meeting up to be. If there's anything else that I could do. Yeah. 22.9, 18.7, 14.9, 11.6, 9.7, 8.4, 7.3, 7.3. 5.6, 9.6. Okay, I'm going to reduce the amount of change that I get. It's very odd what's happening with these things here. What you're seeing, what I'm seeing, right? This ain't right. 2 kilometers is a-okay. Let's do that then. And I don't have to wait for it or anything because it's just a little bit ahead of us. Just a subtle little adjustment should get us what we want. I'm just going to drop it and then I'm going to burn it to 2 kilometers or better. 1.7. So we'll link up with him there. F5ing. Warp me there, I guess. What's that? Where's Minmus? Oh, there it is. And there's our target. So I'll just manual warp. And we only have 15.3 meters per second between us and our target. And yet, look at how much difference that 15.4 meters per second is worth around Minmus from this height. Massive. Get up where we're as close as we're going to be. Back down here. So if you're over there, I want... I'm going to push my... Yep, I guess I'm doing this. I'm burning here in order to push my retrograde away and pull my prograde onto his target. Get her done. Okay, still got some good velocity toward him. 7.5 meters per second. Can we bring the landing gear in, by the way? I think we're up here for a minute, fellas. F5. Give me some warp. Oh, don't go past him now. Get on your retrograde. Give me stability assist. And hi. How you doing? Huh? Is it a good day? Are you having a good day? Because you're being rescued by Pika Pup Kerman. So get out, Calbert. What do you do for a living, by the way? Oh, hi. How you doing? I'm just gonna say that is the Kerbal version of Morgan Freeman right there. I immediately flashed on what's the Jim Carrey movie? Bruce Almighty. Have I said that before about this mod? This is probably you've never had an original thought, have you? Is there anything in there that you need? No? All right. Well, then get off, get out, and come to me. Gray-haired veteran. Yeah, he's been up here a while, hasn't he? Jeez. We thought we left Bob up here for a minute, but talk to Calbert if you want some real stories. All right, Cal. On over and join us aboard the prototype for Bob's ship. I Swear I pressed B. There you go. We have collected Kerbal. We've saved him. We haven't recovered him to Kerbal. Recover him to Kerbal would be the next thing in order to get him home. And also, we need to send like a dump truck out here to collect all these. I mean, look at how many different wreckages we have around Minmus. We got Sonri's pod, we got Ronbert's pod, now we got whatever, we got Morgan Freeman's rod, whatever that is. We got it. So, we picked him up. Hi. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's a small craft, but welcome. Would have thought you'd be happier. Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah. I think he's... Yeah, he's definitely just... Okay, he's one of those guys. You say, like, I would have thought you'd be happier about it. And he's like, hey, yeah, no, I'm really happy, asshole. Well, that's Bill's duty and ship needs. I think it's Jeb. I think Jeb is the guy who has to come out here with a dump truck and pick things up. And another idea that I've had for like cleaning up stuff like this is put a bunch of claws in the shuttle, the 40-ton shuttle, and then maybe build a robotic arm that we pull up and grab it and pull it back in and then like release it so that it hits the claw in the shuttle. That's excessive and stupid. But, you know, we could at least like grab them all up on claws that are mounted in the shuttle and then actually bring them back, recover them for money. Is a thought. He looks like he's been up there so long they're in for a culture shock that East Kerbal and West Kerbal have reunited. The wall's down? Oh my god. Yeah, that was good. There's no real reason for the SS Science to go anywhere else. It could stay right here. It's got more than enough Delta V to do whatever it wants to do in the Minmus SOI. It could get home from here. It could like leave orbit and get down to Kerbal, but the problem is it's not designed for aero braking and it's not designed to come back, so might as well just leave him here where he is. Yeah, F5. And that being the case, then we go back to the tracking station. Or no, I can do that from out here, can't I? I can M, and then I can go back to our boat. Switch to. So we've accomplished a number of missions, by which I mean half of one. That's a number. Half of one is a number. A number of missions. I wonder if that's what like government officials usually mean when they say things like that, you know? We've had a number of successes. 0 being the number. 0 is a number. It is definitely a number. We've consulted mathematicians, so we can say that under any circumstance, no matter how bad we fuck things up. A number of successes. The number being 0 being the problem. So here's my thought. Now that we're up here, and we've started the science research, haven't we? Yes, research has begun. And we're sucking through the electric charge, and we're generating science from data, and we've got an excess of data stored on the craft right now. Now that I see this, I would have liked it if the data, if I had put a storage unit specifically on this one as well, so that I could transfer to that, and then be over here instead of there, because this one's going to be the one that comes and goes, and when we've got an excess, it would be nicer to leave it with the mothership. And I don't... Like, what I could do, I think, is... Let's see. Sonri, get out, because you're the dude, right? You're the... Yeah, they just don't push off anymore, do they? I don't know if it's my mod pack, you know, my model pack here or not. But so here's my thought of a thing that I might be able to do. Is if I could come over here and have Sonri grab everything out of it. Take the data. And so now you've got 29 experiments in your pocket. And then if you get in over here, will it just load those experiments into this? Review data 29. So yes, and now we're empty over here. So we don't need that extra part. We just got to remember to do that when we need to do that. Good. So what I'm thinking is, now that we're here at Minmus with Bob and his pirate spaceship, like, we can now take this vessel with its, what was it supposed to have? Like 1,400 meters per second of delta V? Something between those two numbers? With a number of delta V that it has. we can have him just, like, start bombing sites on Minmus. And with as much delta V as he's got and as little delta V as it costs to land on Minmus, he can hit like 5 or 6 biomes in 2 or 3 junkets from the mothership to Minmus. We could get everything that Minmus has to offer back onto this ship for processing. And we could also, transmit some of it home. I love how you can just carry 20 experiments in your pocket. Yeah, we needed that big old box there to be able to store it on the craft. It's got like tape. It's got like reel-to-reel deck on it too for recording all the information. But Sanri gets out and he's just like, he finds a place for it, doesn't he? He looks very disco, doesn't he, Sanri? Doesn't he look like he's gonna take you to Funky Town? I think he's going to do that. That number of delta V could be 0. But yeah, I think at this point, now that we've got it here, Bob goes a hunt in science while Sanri stays behind and keeps the processing going a little bit. But I think it's time for him to start, doing his job. Being the scientist that he always wanted to be. He always wanted to be the space moon walking Minmus living on. He's gonna set up a campfire and eat the snow cone dust or whatever, like whatever his dreams were as a kid. It's time for him to start living them. Get rid of me again. Get rid of you again. Where's the Streamlabs? Where's the yeah. Yeah. And we're back. I think it's time for Bob to start working. Which will happen, of course, next time on a Ronin Pawn live stream. Twitch.tv/ For I am the Ronin Pawn. I don't know, did you guys see that one coming? Was it obvious that I was setting that up? Because I was always gonna do that. We've been here almost 4 hours. This will actually be a short live stream for me. It'll be kind of nice to not be sat in this chair for 4 hours after sitting in this chair for 2 hours previous playing Islanders, which I heavily recommend. Shall we raid N9 Gaming? Let me just make sure that N9 Gaming is, doing something here, not just lying to me about existing and whatnot. Oh, I see he's running DoorDash pass advertisements. That's odd content. I didn't expect that. I was thinking more something with the Kerbal Space Program, but Dash Pass is from DoorDash. That's another. I guess he's got a lot of affiliate, a lot of ad money coming. What's going on, huh? There's no. There it is. All right, it's in. He's playing the game. We're gonna raid N9 Gaming, huh? Let's go see. And this time, all right. Every time that we raid somebody, I don't know if it's just that I lull all of you to sleep, which I don't get how that could be the case. But we walk in and then nobody says anything. Last time I went in, the streamer had you can't chat unless you verified your account with a phone number. My phone company I can't do that with, so I couldn't say anything. Let's walk in and let's drop some RP logos on them. It's a raid, people. Let's act like it. Go burn their village down. Thanks for coming out, everybody. I will see you this Sunday back here, 4 p.m. Eastern. Pawn out.